apostles, prophets, sages. Leviticus, laws to Paul's find phrases. Turning them corners, no spiritual mazes. Genesis to Revelation, so divine. Flip them scripts, endless grace you'll find. Psalms singing sweet, unbroken lines. Hitting that rhythm, wordplay refined. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? Wake up early, the dawn's light shimmers. Spiritual breakfast, soul food dinners. Isaiah's vision, Ezekiel's figures. Walk through the fire, no one limbers. Kings and judges, prophets profound. Plowing the word, no mythical ground. Verse after verse, wisdom's bound. Heavenly soundtrack, soul serving sound. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? No shortcuts, all divine routes. Listen to the whispers, no room for doubt. Parables drop stronger than gold faucets. Souls hydrated from divine prophets. Study the book, change perspectives. Carefully crafted, not too subjective. A year to reflect, learning perfect. Patterns of grace that time can't deflect. Old Testament drops deep and so real. Kings and warriors, covenant seals. Split that Red Sea, divine reveal. Commandments written, not made of steel. Bethlehem birth to cross on the hill. Unfolding the nappy blessings, pastor with skill. Scripture flip, every verse fulfilled.
Through the word, every verse, every chapter, nothing unheard. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered. Spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ. Flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message. Flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap, change the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extends. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered. Spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ. Flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message. Flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap, change the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extends. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. 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 Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. I'm getting a bit of delay on my phone today, so I gotta wait a second to get caught up and check. So hopefully it's all good. It keeps getting a little bit of lag, but that's my Wi-Fi, my connection to the phone, so no big deal there. Just getting to the background. Where is it? Theme. Bum bum bum. Switch it to dark mode. I wish that the themes were a bit better on some things. When I go to the theme, sounds good. When I go to the theme and I change it, like the borders of where things are at, when you have them in light mode, you can see tones and stuff between there. You can see barriers in between, and when you're in dark mode, they don't always show up. So, oh, you got the coolest stickers in the mail. Yeah. I should put this up just a second right here. Let me add this. I was just adding it. Image, existing celebration, boom. A little bit big there, but there we go. I'll make it as big as I can. So, haven't figured out what you'll need to do to probably get a sub. Yeah, there's you know what? It's in the cellophane. Let me take it out. The 2 stickers I have. This one's my favorite though. This one's my favorite. I wish they would have been smaller, but when I was ordering them, this size was cheaper than getting smaller sizes. So if I'd have went with a 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch, it would have cost the same as the 3 inch. So I think the 1.5 inch to 2 inch would be better, but you know, hey, if you just want a big old sticker, I got you covered. Your favorite's 8-bit pastor. I did not create that. That is from the Church Digital. They did that, or we created those for all of us. So I would not have gone in that direction. I am not an 8-bit fan since I lived through it. I want better quality than 8-bit. So, and Andy has guts. Hey, welcome in, friend. Good to see you. You have a notebook for your Bible study, and you're going to put them on the notebook. Ooh, cool. Well, see, I like to, put them all on here. Like North Hill Live. That's a good size right there. I think that's an 1.5 inch, 2 inch circle. Oh, by the way, check that little guy out right there. So when they sent me the stickers, there was a label on them that had the little printout on it. So I decided I should take the little sticker and put it on there too. I think, do I have the other? Yeah. And then, or here. So those were just the labels that were also a sticker. And so I cut them off the label and used them as well. I thought that was pretty fun. Like, I like the little tiny size, really do. Let's Amy. Hey, welcome in. Good evening to you. Lovely to see you and everyone. Your sleep schedule is going to be staying up now later. Oh, okay. Yeah. You need more stickers now. Well, I was just looking and going, before I go to any more conferences this year and get more stickers, I'm going to have to get another mug. Oh no, I'm going to have to get another travel mug for more stickers. I do have them all over my suitcases. I think I've showed those before, that they're on my suitcases. So anyway, I was putting this up here. 3-year Twitch affiliate anniversary will be on Friday. It is February 14. And I got a bunch of things that I'm still trying to work on and figure out what I'm doing, what I'm not doing. So anyway, I'll be giving stickers away. I haven't figured out what the criteria are for the stickers. We'll be fundraising for the prayer booth. I have the Ark Book of Riddles, and we can redeem a really bad riddle or Bible joke, however you want to look at it. It's my favorite as a kid. My mom threw it out several times, and I found it as an adult, and I had to buy it. So, and we'll figure out some more things. So that's what I can tell you right now. I will look later on. Aki and Fam is celebrating 5 years Streamiversary or affiliate anniversary. I'm not sure which it is today. They will be starting, and they're usually later. So when we rate out, I don't think they'll be live yet. But when they go live, I will try to post something in the Discord so that you know. And they're going to be on the front page, so you'll be able to find them. And we may be able to raid tomorrow morning. Because sound like the plan is he took several days off of work, and they're going to keep, I don't know what the whole thing is that they're working on, but they'll be on the front page. They'll stay live for an extended period of time. Now, it doesn't mean Aki will be live the whole time. He may need to go take a nap, and Mama Peach will be on. So, anyway, that's what they got going on. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah. Valentine's Day. Well, it'll be, for you, it won't be Valentine's Day, though. It'll be Saturday. But yes, so I gotta go double check. But so my affiliate anniversary for my stream is Valentine's Day, and the fish pond is either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. I gotta double check when the affiliate anniversary is for the fish pond. So, just pick holidays. Why not? Okay. I think that's what I got for it now. I need to update some things, but we'll be good. Okay. So, it is Messiah Monday, and it should be really, really good, because we're going to be Matthew 5. Okay, we're going to be Matthew 5, which is Sermon on the Mount. That is some good stuff there. Yeah, so you interrupt me when I'm trying. What are you doing here? Wow, I did not know that the Net Bible let you switch translations. That's interesting. Why would I want to switch translations? I went to you because I wanted to read the Net Bible. Matthew 5. Oh, yes, that's true. Notifications are on. Is there going to be a Discord calendar event? You know what? I'm making a note of it. I don't think I have made Discord calendar events for my... I should do that. Calendar affiliate. Thanks for the idea. I don't think I've done that, so I can absolutely make that, and then that'll go out as well. I do plan. So here's another thing that's not on the. Let me just look a minute. Can I add that here? I can. I know I can. There we go. We'll shrink it down. It won't be. Oh, come on. There we go. I'm just going to leave it that big and cover up my circulating logos. That'll be fine. And you'll all have chat that you can read anyway, so if it scrolls that far, it will be fine. But I also, what I plan to do, which is not listed there, is I'm going to talk about plans for this year. Things that I'm working on. I still got to totally nail down some scheduling stuff, like, okay, when I'm going to try to do a new stream over on TCD, when am I going to try to do that on a regular basis? Am I going to be able to do that on a regular basis? Or because of what I'm, you know what? That's what I can do. Sorry. I love thinking out loud, if you've never noticed that. I'm usually reading the Bible, so I'm not, well, I am thinking out loud. The way that I get excited and all that, that's how I think out loud. But what I need to do is just set a time or two, and then, excuse me, pick those times, and then if I don't have someone to do podcast, I will do gaming instead. Podcast v gaming schedule. Making a note here. Okay. But one of the things that, you're here early this week, I'll give you a peek. Andy and I were talking about is, well, one, when I go over there and I'm doing podcasts, I probably will not be multi-streaming to my channel. I don't know that I need to. If I'm doing a podcast, it'll be mostly focused over there. But when I'm doing gaming, there might be a way to do both, and I might game here and game over there. So anyway. Living Frost, good morning. God bless you all. In the name of Jesus, hope you are all having a good morning so far. Living Frost, I think I've seen you around elsewhere, but thank you for coming in and chatting. Yeah, thanks for the suggestion, last Amy. I have not done that in my Discord. I do that in other Discord servers. Also, office hours are a thing I do. Yep, I can share some of that too. Oh, what did I miss? Oh, there we go. Your wife, Johnny, is recently switched to night shift, so we've been trying to get that figured out. She's been trying to sleep during the days, but there's construction going on outside. Oh, I've done the third shift thing before, and my wife has as well. It is a tricky thing. The one thing I would say is get blackout curtains. They fantastically help you be able to shut all light out from whatever room you're sleeping in. And my wife and my daughter like you wearing a sleep mask. I don't like wearing a sleep mask, but yeah. And my wife worked third shift. I want to say the first 7 years we were married. It was a strain on our marriage. On some levels, because it was always, she's home, but I can't be with her, and she's sleeping, and then she's gone to work. So what ended up happening in reality is she would sleep the day before she went to work. She worked 12-hour shifts for 3 days and slept the day afterwards. It was like I only saw her like 2 days a week is really what happened. Like, oh, you're coming and going, hi, you're up, you're going to work, I can say hi to you and you're leaving. Oh, hi, you're home, I can say hi to you, you're going to bed. I mean, that's what it was. And I did not like it after a couple years. But short term, it's not a big deal. Yeah, she's been running on empty. Oh. Okay. Think I got the stuff back there. She's handling like a trooper. You're getting a puppy on Sunday, and that may get challenging. Oh, indeed. A new puppy with a new sleep schedule, and a puppy on a sleep schedule other than the person sleeping. Yeah. So, so I have done on the Church Digital, which I might as well, since I mentioned a couple times. And I'm going to start talking about it more over on the Discord for the Church Digital. I've done all open office hours. Just pop in and chat about things. And then we switched to doing Google office hours where anybody from any location can come in. You don't have to be on Discord and just join me in open office hours. I need to put my open office hours in Discord. So that's a great idea. And that way, you can just pop in and chat. You'll be able to just pop in and chat. And I'm working on doing some more of those. Hopefully by Friday, I'll have a whole bunch of stuff that way. Okay. So, we are, if you are new here, we are going through a different plan for reading the Bible than just read the Bible in a year. We're not trying to checkmark everything this year and say we've accomplished reading the Bible and we're going to get it done. No. Instead, we're spending time diving deeper on some passages. So, Messiah Monday, which I guess this would be Messiah Tuesday for those down under. Maybe I needed to not have the names with them. But anyway, Messiah Monday. So we're reading about Jesus. So we're reading in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. We've started in Matthew. Torah Tuesday, first 5 books of the Old Testament. And Wisdom Wednesday. Oh, which, by the way, I think we need to get some suggestions in there for Wisdom Wednesday. Go over to Discord, and you can make a suggestion of a psalm or a proverb. And we will look at the whole chapter. So even if your favorite is just one verse, we'll look at the whole chapter. So we've done Psalm 119 and Psalm 23. Lurk cooking breakfast while listening in. All right. Transform Thursday. We're talking about things, and here's where you can bring questions too. I mean, right now I'm just kind of looking at spiritual practices, spiritual disciplines, how to transform your faith and your way, your walk, your way of life. And then Friday favorites. I give you a couple of books to choose from. We just finished Ruth. That means I might need to let you vote on one before Friday. So I don't know why it takes the background color, which is weird to me. Like, I didn't need the background color. I just needed the, so leave the background color there. Those are some possibilities that we will be doing. But we just finished Ruth, which was awesome and amazing, as Ruth always is. Okay. So that's where we've been. Let me close a few tabs here. Always so many open from looking upwards in the Bible. So, I don't know why I am very distracted this morning, but I haven't. Oh, you know what? I don't have any mods in here right now. Like, say mods, or if anyone can, go over in the Discord and shoot me a reminder to post a picture of my mushroom wine. And before you go, ooh, all that. So anyway, over the weekend I was bottling my wine, and this is like a hobby. I get the wrong word. A hobby that I started during COVID. I started with dandelion wine. I'd always wanted to make it. By the time I got stuff, then I decided, let's just try this. Let's start making things. So I had a strawberry kiwi wine, and then I can make a gallon, or I can make a 3-gallon, a 5, or a 6. So sometimes just like, let's just see if this works. So I had some kiwis that were left over. My mom left me, and I decided to make a strawberry kiwi wine. Thought it would be good. I didn't turn. I'm like, I couldn't even smell it. My wife could smell the strawberry and the kiwi on it. The taste was like, I don't know if it was like ethyl alcohol, or it was just like bad. It was bad. Like, I'm not even gonna try to save this. Something went wrong, and I just dumped that. You used to make 60 gallons of wine a year at home. Oh, what kind of wine did you make? I am in the country wine, the fruit wine, and such. So I dumped that one, and then my mom had gotten a bunch of grape juice and raisins. So I didn't make those two together. I made a grape juice wine, which that's not the wine that you make the grapes that you use for wine. That's the grapes you use for grape juice. But like, hey, let's just try it and see. It wasn't bad. It had, gone really dry, so I had to back sweeten it because that one my wife will probably drink. And then the raisin one was super surprising to me. It did not want to ferment when I had it going. Hey, good morning, Subdue. And so I thought, I don't know how this is going to turn out. It has a really, really nice kind of flavor profile that reminds me more of a whiskey than a wine. I mean, it's not as strong as a whiskey. It was like, ooh, that's interesting. I kind of like that. And then what else did I do? Oh, my mulled plum wine. Oh my goodness. So I made the plum wine, and then I mulled it, and then I let it sit. It is good, and I think it's going to get better as it continues to age. That is spot on, dickety good. Bob's your uncle. I don't usually use that phrase very often. I used to use it all the time. Top-notch, dickety-good, Bob's your uncle. Anyway, and then the mushroom wine. So I want to show you a picture of I did not bottle the mushroom wine. I just pulled a sample from it. It smells like mushrooms. It tastes like mushrooms. So now this is not going to be a drinking wine. it's going to be a cooking wine. So you want to add mushroom flavor into something like a French onion soup, or you're cooking a steak, or you're doing a roast and you want to infuse mushroom flavor into it, like chicken marsala, mushroom wine for cooking. So it's amazing. But I want to show you the jar because all the mushrooms are still in there and it looks really cool. So anyway, enough about that. Johnny, really fun hobby. You use grapes from Italy, typically Italian wines. I ended up with hundreds of bottles of wine, gave a ton away, but now we don't drink at all, so I stepped away from the hobby. Yes, Samarilla, welcome in. Yeah, that's one of the things I do. I end up giving a ton of it away, and that's where I started out doing 5 gallons, and then I've downsized to doing 3 gallons, and then I do just a 1 gallon. So from the 1 gallon of grape juice, I got 4 or 5 bottles. It might have been 5 bottles. I'm trying to think. It was four and a half bottles. And from the gallon of raisins, which had all the raisins in there taking up volume, I got 3 bottles. So when you do a gallon at a time for more experimenting and having fun with it, you don't get as much. I did have a son-in-law who was working at a winery, and during COVID was supposed to be recycling all of the used wine bottles. However, the recycling place was closed for months and months and months, so his garage became full of those wine bottles, and I took a whole bunch of them. So I'm pretty set up for quite a while of wine bottles. How are you doing, Samarella? Hope you're doing well, friend. Okay, enough. This is like, we got Matthew 5, 6, and 7. If we can do it all today, would be amazing. Won't happen. I mean, who? Maybe I was doing this for Streamiversary, and we're just gonna go. We could do that, but affiliate-iversary. I keep wanting to say Streamiversary. Streamiversary flows off the tongue a lot better than affiliate-iversary. Okay. We're in Matthew 5. So Matthew 5 begins the Beatitudes and is called the Sermon on the Mount. Now, this is going to have headings all the way through and is broken up into a bunch of different sections. And it really, these teachings are taught in other Gospels in different places. Matthew puts them all together in one place for one specific reason. They all should be read in light of everything else that's contained here, not split up into different sections. So, when did Jesus teach these? How did Jesus teach these? I imagine that Jesus probably taught these on more than one occasion. He probably taught them repeatedly to different groups of people. Did he at one time go up on the mountain and teach these all at once? He certainly could have. Were these all, as the other Gospels do, weave them in and out of other smaller stories? He certainly could have. He could have done both. So I don't think that's the important thing. The content of them and how do we utilize them in our lives, I think, is the important thing. Samuel, I don't know if it's okay to ask here, and I don't want to get off topic, but can I get advice from you on a few things? Yeah, if you want to DM me, that's fine. If you want to ask in chat and allow chat to give advice as well, that's perfectly fine, Samarella. And one thing too, usually, I certainly can give advice, but I usually generally don't give advice unless someone asks for advice. So I appreciate you asking. Thank you. Okay, so we have the Beatitudes, which is this whole section of blessings that Jesus is stating here. Okay, Samarella, hypothetically, if you've been told that all the abuse you faced is because of your mental disorder and you're blaming someone else for no reason, and even your mind makes you feel that way and making you have the thoughts you're not supposed to have, how would you manage and try to get away from it? Whew. That's heavy. And also, it's probably very complicated from the standpoint of who is saying those things to you and your ability to either, I don't want to say, protect yourself by not engaging with them or not being able to get away from them. So, from the standpoint of if that was a family member that I don't want to break relationship with, it's really hard to stay in relationship with them when they say things like that. But you want to protect yourself from those things that they say. So I'll give a different example, and I'm not saying this from the standpoint of you have to give ultimatums or anything, but yeah, if it's from someone you thought was a friend or family, yeah, this is a way, and you would have to figure out specifically how to do this. But I would set up boundaries around the topic. And for instance, when I was newly married, and so within the first two years of being married, someone in my life constantly was saying things about my wife that were harmful, hurtful. They would say it to me, and I don't remember if they said it in her presence or not. And, we had a daughter at the time, and so I told them, like I said, you don't have to make an ultimatum like this, but it got to the point where where it was, if you say those things about my wife again, you won't see me. And and so that means you won't get to see my daughter either. And so I had to be that direct with them. But the other thing you can do is, what's in line with those is saying, look, this topic is off limits. I know what you have to say. I know what your opinion is. I know what mine is. We have disagreement here. So the topic just needs to not be talked about. If you bring up the topic, then I will need to leave. And then if you do that a time or two, or if it's a phone conversation, if you bring up the topic, that's the end of the conversation for me. And now, if you can't leave, it's just like, well, then I'm going to go take a walk. I'm going to go outside. You do something that you put something in place that is a consequence of someone violating whatever you set up. So if you can't set it up of, we can't talk about it, or please don't bring the topic up, and then you have here's what I will do, and that's the way I would approach it, of setting up a boundary for someone, but with a way that you can enforce it. So if it's, I'm going to walk away if you bring the topic up, and you can enforce that, then do it. If it's, I'm going to hang up on the phone because you can enforce that, then you set up a boundary, and you set up something that you can and will enforce. So don't set up something that's too extreme that you can't enforce, or something you don't have control over. But certainly set a boundary up and say, hey, I know that we love each other. I know we care about each other. So for me, this is what I need. And then just be firm on it. That would be my approach. And if you want more specifics, if you want more specificity, DM me and we can chat back and forth. If you're like, here's the situation, I don't know if that would work, then let me know there. But that'd be the approach that I would do, is you set a boundary and you set an enforcement, and then you follow through with that. Hope that makes sense. Samarella? And the goal isn't to lose relationship. The goal is certainly to maintain relationships. So that's why I'm like, I know it's complicated, and you'll have to figure out some of that. So, okay. I think the last time, we're just getting into Matthew here. I think the last time I preached through Matthew and the Beatitudes, if you're familiar with Stranger Things, I preached through this talking about the upside down kingdom, because what Jesus is doing throughout the Sermon on the Mount is taking the wisdom of the world and turning it on its head, saying, this is what you believe is the way to do things, and I'm telling you there is an opposite but better way to do them. So, Sam, it's like everything is my fault. from me being depressed to getting myself into a DV situation, even when I could have easily told about it to someone and got away. I wasn't able to do so, and now I'm blaming someone else for it. It's like I want to have a scene to create sympathy to gain attention in their minds. Yeah. And once a person has a frame of reference that they believe is the case, it is hard to change their mind about it. So they're going to continue to probably think that you're talking about someone. Let me back up. Someone who thinks that it's your own fault that you're depressed does not understand depression. Woo, sorry, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 deer that just ran by my window. 10 deer that just ran past my window. Boy, I wish I had the pond cam outside. I could show them to you. Andy, let me know what you want prayer for. So, yeah, a lot of people don't understand depression if they've never had it. They think you can just pray it away. I don't think that works in every case. It certainly can happen that way, but I don't think that's the plan for it to happen just by praying and it'll go away. Certainly it could. God's that powerful, but it doesn't mean that's how he operates. The other thing is people want to, like, don't want to admit cause and effect because someone else interacts with you, and there is connections between that and causes between that. So, yeah. And the attention seeking is such. This is my opinion, and I might be wrong, but when I just blame someone else to be attention seeking, really what it is I just don't want to talk about the topic because I'm uncomfortable, and this is my way of shutting down the conversation. I might be wrong on that, but that's what I feel. Andy has guts. Need prayers for strength, prayers for your dad's continued recovery, prayers for serenity and peace as well. Absolutely. All right. And Samarella, we can pray for you as well. Have been my dad's caretaker, and he has neck fused. Oh, okay. Wow. Andy, thanks for sharing. We'll lift that up in prayer. I'm gonna make, you know what? I'm trying to think of the best way to arrange this. I gotta find the right setting here. There we go. Open this up, and I'm gonna zoom out a bit. Also, praise for mom too, please, sir. What's going on with mom? Come on, where's the cam hub? Why are you not opening? Click on you to. Oh, there it goes. Finally opening. Okay. There we go. We'll shrink down a bit. Samarella, I'm not trying to hide or pretend to be depressed. Oh, no, and I wasn't saying that. I was scared about everything, and I don't know what to really do in the situation, and now I'm away from it, and I wasn't able to completely get away, and I don't know if they can understand me over the situation. Yeah. And that's where I said, to the degree that you can set a boundary that says, look, if I'm talking about this and you say these things, then the conversation's over because you and I don't see things the same way. Yeah, I don't know. There's, like I said, some people have an opinion and a viewpoint that does not understand, is not sympathetic to, and is not willing to learn, and that's part of where stigma comes in to it. Andy, just for all three of us, Mom and I have taking care of Dad. Mom is really struggling. I don't know what with. So for peace for Mom, please. Okay. Also, I did share this in the Discord I did not make this fully public, so if you didn't see it, um, I know because of stigma and other things, I'm not sharing it public because if info gets out in certain places, not that I think it would from Twitch but my nephew last week tried to take his life. I believe he took a bunch of pills. He was online gaming with a friend from another state who saw the need and called the suicide prevention hotline, is what I understand, and got help for him. And he is in a mental health facility right now, which I am praying that he will get the help he needs. This is the second time. 2 years ago, he had done a similar thing. Basically, went in and out of the hospital and did not get an inpatient treatment at that time. Did get some medication. My sister thought everything was fine, but his medications apparently needed to be adjusted and had not been. So, and I have several family members who have. So I'm very sympathetic to it, but other people just think that it's weakness or something else, and I don't know how to change their minds. So let's just spend some time in prayer. God, we're lifting up Andy and his dad right now. His dad, who he and his mom are a caretaker for, and have had some of his vertebrae in the neck who have been fused. So praying for strength and continued recovery for his dad. And praying for serenity and peace for the whole family. And his mom, too, for that peace and strength and comfort. God, just be with them all as this circumstance continues to go forward. Bring healing, bring strength. Surround them with your loving arms. Make your presence known. Make your face shine upon them. Give them all that they're in need of in this time. And just lift up Andy and surround him with your love. Praying for my sister and my nephew, and just that circumstance and the number of family members I have that struggle with mental health. God, we just pray for right diagnosis, right treatment, right medication, and also your presence. We pray for healing and restoration. We pray for you to surround them with your love. We pray for opportunities for me to be there, and I also give you praise and thanks for friends online who reach out and care for one another to intervene in bad circumstances and bad situations. God, we're lifting up Samarella and just difficulties in having conversations with people that don't see and understand mental health. We want to stay connected with our friends and family, but sometimes they don't understand what we are going through. They don't understand what we are dealing with. They view it from their perspective. And as we know, we need to treat others as they would want to be treated, and we need to see things from the other person's viewpoint. And so, God, I just pray for those people in Samarella's life that they begin to understand what Samarella has experienced. They begin to see what Samarella is going through instead of standing on the outside and viewing it from their perspective. God, may you open their eyes, open their hearts, soften their hearts. Give them a spirit that wants to love rather than judge, a spirit that is going to embrace rather than blame. And God, may you give Samarella all that she's in need of. Give her strength and courage, and bind her up. Make your presence known, make your face to shine upon her, and give her peace. Help her in these conversations when they happen that might draw them closer instead of pushing them away. Allow her the words and thoughts that she needs to be able to express what's going on, and also for the person to hear, the people in her life to hear. God, I just thank you for Samarella. I appreciate her. I value her, and I wish others would see her the same way, as beautiful child created in the image of God. Thank you for her. Give her blessing upon blessing upon blessing this day, and all who are in chat. I thank you for them and the time I get to spend with them on a daily basis. God, we praise you and thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. Samarella, I'm not able to convince them that it's not easy for me to forget things and just move away. I don't know if should be talking about my problem to people or keep everything to myself. Well, I'm going to say you shouldn't keep everything to yourself, but who you should be talking to makes a difference. At times, this is a safe place, and I'm going to make sure it stays a safe place for people to share and talk about things that are going on. So this is one of those places that you can. My Discord is a place that you can. As I'm working with the Church Digital, we are talking about mental health a lot, and we're trying to find more resources. And so throughout this year, hopefully we will come out with more resources that we can help give to streamers and others to help people with mental health. So, like one of the things that we're thinking about is trying to find a mental health triage thing. So when someone comes in, how can you help triage? And triage is just identifying the urgency of a need. So identifying the urgency of a need so that I know, do you need immediate attention? Do you need ongoing attention? What kind of level of care do you need? So that I can get you to the right person, because I may not be the right person. So a triage person just identifies the need and helps send them. So if you were triaging in a hospital, the patient that needs immediate surgery from the patient that just needs to have surgery in 3 days. So that's what triaging is. And so with mental health, we can do the same thing. So if I get and when I get those trainings available, I will certainly let people know. And that doesn't mean you need to do that, but you might know other streamers that can. And that's more thinking of the streaming community than assistance with face-to-face things. Okay. Thank you, Samarella. I appreciate you, friend. Thank you, Andy, for asking for prayers. I value that time to be able to do that with you. Okay. So, as I was mentioning with the Beatitudes, the world might have one viewpoint of how to do things, and Jesus is saying, nah, that's not it. Do you think those people are valuable? Or you think those people are not valuable? I'm telling you, you got it wrong. I'm telling you it's backwards from what you're thinking. So, we're going to read through this, and hopefully we will be able to see that there's a difference here. Okay. When he saw the crowds, he went up the mountain. Okay, the expression up the mountain here is an idiom or generic, much like English. He went to the hospital, or even intentional reminiscence. Yes, I think it's reminiscent of Exodus 24:12, since the genre of the Sermon on the Mount serves as Moses' giving of the law. Yeah, I think that's a connection here. He's on the mountain. Moses was on the mountain. Sam, thank you so much, Pastor. I really didn't mean to come here. And you know what? This is a place that you can do that. Just vent this way and make it heavy. I just wanted to talk to someone, and thank you for helping me just get it out. Sam Morello, that's one of the things what I want to be available for. I also think another thing, too, that maybe you're not thinking about, Samarella, is or at least I feel like I just got to demonstrate a loving, effective way to walk alongside someone else. And so, Samarella, you gave me the opportunity to demonstrate for other people who are watching the VOD, other people who are in the stream, how do you lovingly walk alongside someone in the struggle of the moment, in the concern of life, and give them the time that's needed without it. And I don't feel like this is about you. This is about, we all have these kinds of things. So, okay, Andy, let me just check that a second. I don't always have, oh, Andy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Andy. I assumed Andy has guts. Sorry, Andy. I apologize. You could have told me that in front of everybody. I'm sorry, Andy. That is my mistake. That's my mistake. Sometimes I usually do ask people, but I made the assumption of Andy, and did not even think about that. So, I'm sorry. Okay. So anyway, Samarella, everyone else here, this is how I think we should demonstrate things. So one of the things that's like if I just go in a DM and do that, no one else here gets to see. No one else here gets to learn how do you walk alongside someone? How do you think through things? Because even in giving advice, I know the limitations of my advice may not apply to every part of your situation. You grew up with Toy Story, yes, just makes more sense. Yeah. I get that now that it was you a reference to Toy Story. I mean, I thought that, but I was just thinking that. So, for instance, people will take something their name is connected with and then just celebrate their name that way. That's what I was thinking you were doing. So, appreciate it. Yeah, it's your nickname too. Yes. And I'm trying to think. There is an actress whose name is Andy, and I can't think of her last name. My brain is going to Andy Warhol, and that is not an actress. But anyway, you spell it that way because of Toy Story, yes. Yeah, and it was the spelling that made me think that. Is it Andy McDowell? I don't think that's right either. Yeah, I'm not going to Google it. Doesn't matter. Okay. See? And there's another. Hey, we make mistakes. Well, and some streamer names are a little bit different and don't lead you with any clues as to gender or anything. Like Luce's. Luce's doesn't give any clues. 5 lights. Okay. Good name, but doesn't tell me about the person. So, okay. When he saw the crowds, he went up. Andy McDowell, yes. Yep. I was right. I think that's who it was. Yep. After he sat down, his disciples came to him. Then he began to teach them, saying, okay, so what do we have here? So we have him up on a mountain like Moses, and we have the disciples there. The opening his mouth, he taught them, saying, the imperfect has been translated ingressively. Okay. So this sounds like he's teaching the disciples. He sees the crowds. He goes up the mountain. The disciples clearly go up the mountain with him. Are the crowds there on the mountain? This is one of those things where I love the vagueness of it. We have a setting. We change a scenario. We give a little bit of details. I could picture it with all of the crowd there. I can picture it with just a few of them. So, Subdue started a new job in Stillwater. It's a 3-story castle that I shared the mock-up staircase with you all last year. Going to take you 5 months. I'm not sure why you're pointing and laughing there, but if it's just the point, yes, Lucis is female, yes. And Subdue the Day. There's another generic name. Is Subdue the Day masculine or feminine name? It's not. It's just an awesome name. I have to say the turnaround face zoom in is one of my favorite emotes that you have, Lucis. That is such an awesome emote. Ooh, maybe I need to get one of those. That's me turning around going. Like, maybe I need to get some more my face animated emotes. I can make those. Okay. What am I? Oh, yeah. So they're up on the mountain. They're sitting down. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Okay, what does this mean by blessed? The term blessed introduces the first of several beatitudes promising blessing to those whom God cares for. Okay, let me go look this up. I mean, we're not getting far today. I mean, who am I kidding? We're not going to get through all of Matthew 5, 6, and 7. Okay, what is this? Makarios. Makarios. Makarios? Probably Makarios.
Strong's G 3107. Makarios.
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 Yes, it would prove of a no cap emote. Oh yeah, I get the cap with the circle and the line through it. That might be a good one. That may be a good one. I was trying to think through what that would look like. Okay. Okay, so blessed or happy. Where is this translated as happy? Okay, it says, okay. I think myself happy, King Agrippa, because I shall answer for myself. I would have went with blessed there instead of happy. Happy is he that condemneth not himself in the thing which he allow. I guess, okay. Okay. I don't see those as distinctly. But, and if ye suffer for righteous sake, happy are ye. I still could go with blessed. If you reproach the name of Christ, happy are ye. For this, I still think I could go with blessed versus happy in those cases. I'm not seeing a distinction. Okay, that's all I wondered. They probably have their own reasons for choosing happy over blessed, but here's one of the things in reference to, if you translated these as happy are the poor in spirit, the answer would be no. Like, no, they're not. They absolutely are not. Oh, that's also what I wanted to look at. What tense is this? Okay. Nominative plural sense. It's an adjective. Oh, so it's not a verb with a tense of. I was trying to think if it's present tense or future tense. That's what I was trying to figure out, or if it's perfect. But it's an adjective, so that doesn't help me at all to understand the Greek grammar. Subdue with the no hat. Well, I'm watching's not here. All right, no hat. 5 minutes. Oh, so that means I'm going to have to snooze because otherwise it'll be in the ads. Okay. Okay. Now, we've talked about blessing before, and look at the handsome skull. Well, yesterday when I got up, the hair right here was just like all up in a fray. So it's not right now. But as we go through these, so think about this. Like, on the surface, does this sound true? And it's blessed, meaning I think it is a present tense reality with ongoing implications. That's the way I want to see this. Yeah, I had to go back, Mrs. Smiles, man. The blessed are the poor in spirit, for their kingdom of heaven belongs to them. Okay. Yes, it is present tense. Belong here signifies Jesus makes the kingdom and its blessings currently available. This phrase is unlike the others in the list, with the positive pronoun being emphasized. So, This is a current state reality that those who are poor in spirit are currently blessed, and the reason they are blessed because the kingdom of heaven belongs to them. They already possess it. The poor in spirit is a reference to pious poor, for whom God especially cares for. Okay, maybe. The look at the handsome skull, I saw that one. Oh, did I miss one before that? Oh, I missed Luce's. Turning around shock face and without the cast and no hair, flow like Fabio. I'm using her words. I missed that one. Oh, you know what? Here's the problem sometimes, Luce's and Subdue. You're in the same color, and so I missed that was... Yeah, I missed your other words of the Fabio no hair turnaround. That would be a funny one. I do have the look from the opening creds, the beginning soon scene, but probably want a new one. Okay. So the poor in spirit. I think one of the other Gospels just has "Blessed are the poor" when it's talking about these, not the poor in spirit. So, which is why people reference that in here. But if I'm thinking about what would it be to be poor in spirit, I would think I don't have an abundance. Either I have been choosing to pass on that, and so then I am run down, or because of the world, I am run down. And the world's view is that the poor or the poor in spirit are of no value. And Jesus is saying, you're wrong. They're of ultimate value. The kingdom of heaven belongs to them. The access to God through me is already theirs. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Okay, so this is an interesting one. Yeah, the promise, they will be comforted, is the first of several reversals. So, if I do not mourn for what is going on, I can't receive comfort. Okay? So think about this. And this ties back to Samarella, not directly, but just in relationship to, if I don't share what's going on, nobody can come alongside of me. Okay? If I don't ask for prayer, how can you pray for me? If I don't show tears, I can't get comforted. And I don't have to have tears to be mourning. I can share that I'm really feeling down or sorry or sad or anything else. Sorry, I'm just noticing my pond cam, and I had seen that the deer were stepping around where the camera is, and it appears that they must have turned the camera sideways. They're trying to get at the flowing water that's there. All right, timer's up. Hat's back. So, if I don't mourn, how can you comfort me? If I put on a brave face, if I don't tell you what's going on, if you don't know what's going on, how can you comfort me? So I did not plan to share on stream about my nephew, but there were other reasons for it. But how can you walk alongside of me if I don't share those things? Like I said, it wasn't my own thing to share as part of that. So I'm limiting where I share it. But me walking alongside, me feeling like I never got to really be a part of my nephew's life, and other nieces and nephews who have done similar things. I've not really got to be a part of their life. From that, I mean, I see them once a year around Christmas, or maybe 2-3 times a year at most, when they are at my mom's house and I am there as well. There is not a one-on-one relationship with them. It's, oh, that's Uncle so-and-so. That's really hard to be in someone's life when that's the limit of what you have. So, So I grieve that I do not have a relationship. I grieve that I can't be a more of an influence. I would love to be. They live closer to me now than they ever have. They are now just 5 hours away. And I've seen them several times in the past year. But that still isn't enough time to do much of anything. And I don't get like one-on-one time with them. So now that I share that, now you can come alongside and comfort. But if I don't share that, how can I be comforted? Sorry, my brain is going to, if you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. If you don't have any pudding, how can you eat your meat? Or something like that. I don't know. I think I said that wrong. Okay, like I said, these are not the way the world thinks. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Excusez-moi? Isn't it usually the military, the brave, the violent that go and are conquering the earth? The might makes right, and the might is going to conquer all? Jesus says, no. No. The meek, the mild, those that everyone is going to be, those who get downtrodden and squashed and taken advantage of, they will inherit the earth. It is a foregone conclusion. They are the ones who are going to do it, not the conquering hero, but the one who gets downtrodden. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Okay. Now, I think one of the others just says hunger and thirst, for so they shall be filled, versus the hunger and thirst for righteousness. Yeah, those who hunger are poor, are people like the poor, Jesus already mentioned. Okay. But if they are hungering and thirsting for righteousness, I see the need in my community for things. And I am hungering and thirsting for that to be changed. And if I am satisfied, that means that change is going to happen. Short ad? Oh, sorry. I thought it was on the timer. Okay. Thanks, Lucis. So I did switch Squidward's house with SpongeBob's house. Wywis just blocked the cam for us. Thanks, Wywis. So that maybe SpongeBob's house wouldn't get knocked over as much. And boom, the other fish knocked over SpongeBob's house already. So maybe I've been blaming Wywis. I mean, it is him, but I mean, it's not exclusively him. There we go. So let's see how long Squidward's house will stay up with Wywis. And I put Gary in there instead of SpongeBob. So I switched them. Ooh, but the lake is a nice view today. Let me take a peek at that. Gorgeous. So you've got the shadows of the trees behind. Now, the last time I checked, the cam was not able to pan very far. You can see the water out there. Oh, we got a little further. Okay, let me zoom in just so that you can see the water out there. Should be focusing. There we go. So you can see the open water out there. I'm going to zoom back. So that is all ice on the lake, starting to freeze over from winter. Let's get till we can see yellow canoe. There we go. Come on, a little bit back. There we go. I like just the canoe in the shot there. No snow on the ground here, but it's a chilly 37 degrees out and clouds. I think...
Refuse candy shows it all.
I looked earlier, and then I converted it. So I'm a minus 8 degrees Celsius, whatever that makes me. Because I looked it up earlier. Yeah, pretty. Johnny, yes. Oh, let me go back. Jesus, the King of Kings, changed the entire world, not by bombs and army or through war, but through the word. Oh, yes, absolutely, Johnny. Absolutely. So, so hunger and thirst for righteousness. So, like I said, I think one of the other translation or the other gospels just says hunger and thirst, for they shall be filled. But here, I think it is hungering and thirsting for righteousness. I see that there's exploitation happening, and I want it to change. And at some point, I am going to see change if I continue to hunger and thirst for it. It will happen. Like for instance, I hunger and thirst for people to understand and treat people well who have mental health issues, problems, concerns, whatever it is. I hunger and I thirst for that. I want to see it happen. I want people treated justly and fairly and with love instead of condemnation. And so, yeah. Johnny, oh yeah, you've been praying for us to find a church home, and we went to a wonderful farm church. Ooh, a farm church. Interesting. Southern Baptist, and they were super welcoming, and their theology was solid. That may be your home. Oh, cool. Yeah, and I had I think I posted it somewhere. Oh, I posted a voice chat. I did a wedding on Friday, and I had a lovely time hanging out with people afterwards. And it's amazing how much fellowship needs to be a high value, as much as your theology does. I think fellowship does, because I mean, if people have the right theology, but they treat me like a piece of dirt, I don't care. Okay? If they treat other people like a piece of dirt, I don't care. I don't want to hang out with you if you're treating people like dirt. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah, I did a wedding on Friday. It was it was super cool, actually. I really enjoyed it. I never was a big wedding fan. Like, you know, some people are like, oh, I get to do weddings. Actually, out of seminary, I was more excited to do funerals than weddings. I found a lot more value in walking alongside of someone in their time of need and comforting them than a party reason to celebrate. But I've come around to sorry, just a note. I need to follow up. Thank you. It may not be how your brain works, but it's how mine does. Okay, so I need to follow up. I had another couple ask me about a wedding, so I need to do that this week and set appointment with them and chat. Okay. Making my notes of to-do list here today. For a wedding in July. So, being in the marketplace, one of the people in the marketplace where my prayer booth is, they have a knick-knack place for home stuff, home decor. There we go. That's what I was trying to think of. Home decor shop as well. But they also have a rental space that they rent out if you're going to have a party, if you're going to do a wedding reception. So if you do not have a church home and you do not need a large venue, or if you just want to have a party, a small gathering, they have a rental space called Home and Gather. And so because of that relationship that I developed with them, they're like, well, I get people that are doing weddings and they don't have a pastor. So I'm on the recommended list now for her for me to be able to do weddings. So I've talked with a few people. They didn't take me. Now I have another person. So that's how I got this wedding, was from my friend there recommending me. And I'm like, I think I'm kind of enjoying this. I mean, it's not typically, like, when I was doing weddings, usually my favorite part was doing the marriage preparation with them, not the wedding itself. But anyway, Les, I love how you have a prayer booth. Awesome calling. Yeah. I bet you've touched so many hearts. Oh, thank you. I felt like I was blessed so much by being down there. Now, I'm still waiting to hear back if I'm moving for a year and a half or so, and that means I got to figure out something else for the prayer booth. What I'm planning to do, regardless, I think, if I move or not, is coming up with a training course and recruiting people to be in the prayer booth with me. And if I'm there, then I'm there, and if not, I'm not there. But then also, because I developed relationships with those not in there and have tried to serve as chaplain to those in the artisan market. I'm thinking about doing, if I'm not present physically, having open office hours, open chat time where they can jump in and we can be in conversation together. So that's kind of the idea. Okay. Here I am trying to take on a really, really deep and heavy passage with all kinds of things, and I'm just talking life today. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? Okay, I think it's fun. Okay, because we can go as slow as we need to with any of these. Okay, so hunger and thirsting for righteousness. I see problems in the world. I want them changed. When I want them changed, I not only pray about them being changed, I take action to try to change them. Will I be satisfied? Yes. When will I be satisfied? Because in the end, they will all righteousness will come about. That maybe when I get satisfied, I may have satisfaction along the way, but I am striving for the world to be different than it is today. I think that's how I see that. Others may see it differently. That's how I understand that. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall be shown mercy. Oh, this is so beautiful. And we have this taught in a lot of other places. So, with the measure that you measure to other people, it shall be measured to you. We have the tale of the unjust servant who is given mercy and then doesn't show mercy, and then the mercy given him is rescinded. So, there's that. There's that. So, if you want to receive mercy, mercy needs to be given. I think about this too. Think about this too. If I am extending mercy repeatedly to other people, and then I get in a situation where I need mercy, isn't it more likely that that is how people will give it to me? Hey, I'm watching you people. Welcome in. Good to see you, friend. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Now, this is one of those that when? Let me look at this. Okay, verse 8. Let me go look at the text. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see. Okay, what verb tense is this? Shall see, verb future, middle, deponent, indicative, third person plural. Okay, so it's future. It's future. That's what I wanted to determine, but when is it? When is it in the future? I don't know. Johnny, I try to keep this in mind as much as possible with grace and mercy. It's really tough sometimes, especially when I am wrong. But that's when mercy and grace feel even more of God, because it wasn't me doing it. Yeah. Yes. When I don't want to extend it, when I feel justified in holding a grudge, when I feel justified in retaliation, how many times don't other people feel that way towards me? I think that's part of the thing. Is I need it, therefore I need to give it. I already have received it, therefore I have the capacity to give it. I think that there's a couple of different strains of how to think through that. But let me just talk about this in simple terms. So, if someone owes me money, and I forgive them money, because that's what the unjust servant is on some level. Someone owes me money, and I forgive them money. I am blessed on several levels of having forgiven the debt. One, I no longer have to track down the debt to have it repaid. I no longer need to be in the position of lording it over someone else. I can now have a relationship restored in a different level. So there's levels of which that can happen, if I show grace and mercy and forgiveness of a debt. Just taking on a physical thing. Also, when you owe someone a debt, some people, it gets awkward. Like, I don't want to come and chat with you, talk with you because I owe you money and I feel guilty that I don't have the money to pay you. So having the debt forgiven can restore that. Also, sometimes people don't have it. How long are you going to hold on to a debt with someone? So interesting thing, when my friend was here a couple of weeks ago for the funeral, and we were driving in the car, my son called and said, "Hey, Dad," I think this is what it was. I don't remember exactly, but I'm just going to say it as if this was the number. "Dad, I need $40.22." And my reply was, "That's a very specific number." My friend was laughing at me. So I gave him the money, and then I don't know. Last week he sent it back to me, and I gave him more than the $40.20 just to make sure he was covered. If there was anything else that he didn't know about. And so then he sent it back to me, and I'm like, "Are you sure you have it? Like, you didn't need to pay me back." By the way, there's lots of other hundreds of dollars that he's borrowed and not paid back. So it was just kind of like, oh, wow, what a blessing. He borrowed the money and he paid it back in a very short period of time. But, one of those things where you have money coming in and out at the same time and you miss something. So that was all it was. But that's why I just say, I don't want my kids having me lording over them that they owe me money. I always tell anybody that borrows from me, it's on you to know how much you borrowed. It's on you to pay me back. If you don't ever pay me back, I won't know, because I keep no records of the money you borrow. So, I'm watching. Lucis was talking earlier. Your name was mentioned about an emote that should make without a cap. Yep. Johnny, and sometimes we won't get mercy or grace from the world, and we are called to be last, to pick up our cross and be humble. Oh, yeah, for the Lord can use our defeat and his glory. But, yeah, this is also, though, calling us to be the ones showing mercy when we don't receive mercy. Johnny, we stop lending money. If a person really needs it and we can afford it, we just give it to them. Lending is off the table. Yeah, but usually family members will say, "Hey, can I borrow?" And they will have the intent to pay it back. And so, yeah. My kids still use the language of borrow the money. So, Jordan Williams Gaming in the house. I'm watching. I was here, but I had a few things. Yeah, you had to handle before coming in. Yeah, but you got to see the good hair. Oh, so you were here to see the hair. Okay, good. Okay. So we were on pure in heart, for they will see God. I think this is one of those that I don't quite fully understand. I think pure in heart, meaning that I have a heart for God, and as a person with a heart for God, I see God. I think that's what that is, at least the best I can understand. Pure in heart, meaning my motivations, my actions, my deeds. So, and it is future, will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. Sons of God. Okay, so they're changing it to children. Okay. Because it's not specifically masculine, but it would be sons. And the reason why it would have been sons, because sons are the ones who inherit from the father. In most traditions and most of human history, the sons are the ones who inherit. Daughters do not, because daughters will be married and their children will inherit from their father, which would be her husband, and from her father-in-law, her husband would inherit. So that's why it would have been sons are the ones who do the inheriting, but it's children of God is fine. Rendering, making sure that all of us as the descendant, as connected with God, are going to inherit it. So we get the title of peace of children of God when we're peacemakers. Why? because the world isn't filled with peacemakers. The world is filled with wrath and violence. And so those who are filled with wrath and violence are not peacemakers. They're not of God. So if you are the peacemaker, and I don't think that we should think of peacemaker from the standpoint of war. Okay, let me make that distinction here. Sure, it could be. And that's how we usually apply this. But he's talking to a crowd of people. Where's most likely the chance that you're going to be a peacemaker? Between two people that you know. Between two people that have strife in their relationship with each other. You stepping in if there's violence. You stepping in if there's hurt feelings. You stepping in to bring and restore relationship. You are a peacemaker. That, I think, is more what we're able to do. Because what can I do in Israel right now with the fighting going on? I don't think there's anything I can do. What can I do in Ukraine right now with the fighting going on? I don't think there's anything I can do. I don't mean that there's nothing I can do. I mean from the standpoint of will peace happen because of actions I take? I don't think so. I mean, I can give aid. I can donate to causes to help people who are refugees from those circumstances. I can pray. But what can I do to stop the warring parties from warring? I don't have that capacity. I don't have that connection. But in your life, if you are struggling with someone and you say, hey, could you come in and help? I can do that. If I know the two of you and I see that happening, I can step in. So we think of peacemaking in the realm of war. I want to think about peacemaking in the realm of relationship. There's where I get to be called a child of God because I bring peace to that situation. Okay, let me get caught up on chat. Yes, a tribe called Blessed. Yes. And that's a great. It's gonna be dope t-shirt one day. Oh no. If a t-shirt. I don't want my face on a t-shirt. I mean, I got the little. I mean, I'm sporting Gate Zero today, not my own t-shirt. But I do have the little cap guy on t-shirts. The little tip of the cap. It wears off. It's wearing off on my shirts, but okay. I didn't need that chat. That was fun, but okay. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to them. Okay, I'm looking up a lot of tenses here. This is really what I'm just trying to look at the verb tense of what's going on to know, is it present, future kind of things. Is este present tense, indicative third persons? That's what I want to know. So, in the middle of sorry. You were talking about the phrase "a tribe called Blessed" on a t-shirt, not my face. Okay, good. That's much better. That's much better. Ooh, the no cap redemption could be a bonus cam shot. Subdue, you're not helping here, friend. You're not helping. Yeah, we could probs do that. Since it is affiliate anniversary on Friday, we'll see what happens. Because we started that for stream anniversary in August. So it's been 6 months of no cap redeems. Okay. So, blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to them. Presently. The kingdom of heaven presently belongs to you in the process of you being persecuted. You are the rightful possessors of the kingdom of heaven. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, I don't always feel like it. but you have laid claim. You are dwelling in the land. You have access. Yeah, it depends on who you're trying to help. Here, doesn't it? Yes. Okay. This one's getting cold. I just need to move it. I keep grabbing it. And I need to just switch to my other one that's warm. Okay. Anything that's uncomfortable, put it behind a table. That usually lessens the amount of frustration, unless you're big Unk. They seem to get a kick out of bed from his frustration over there. Yes. Yeah, put it on behind a paywall. Yeah, okay. Wow. Put it behind a table. I knew you meant paywall. I didn't understand why it was table, but weird autocorrect. Okay. Blessed are you when people insult you and persecute you and say all kinds of evil things about you falsely on account of me. Rejoice and be glad, because your reward is great in heaven, for they persecuted the prophets before you in the same way. Okay. This is bearing witness falsely. Could be motivated reading, clarifying the disciples are unjustly persecuted. It's lack in only, okay, so on one manuscript it's not there, since the Western text is known for numerous free alterations without corroboration. Evidence for the shorter reading must be judged as secondary. Oh, you just need to proofread better? Well, sometimes I misspell and it autocorrects a horrible way, and sometimes I spell correctly and it autocorrects anyway. Oh, yeah, they get a kick out of paying for his frustration. Yes, finally. There we go. So in the state when you are insulted and persecuted and have all kinds of evil things about you falsely on account of me. So when people are saying all kinds of things about you, yeah, you're blessed. Doesn't feel that way. So Jesus is in Matthew here telling us that the world viewpoint is not the viewpoint that we need to hold to. There's a better viewpoint. A way better viewpoint than that one. And that's the one that we should have. That's the one we should hold to. So, okay. So those are all the blessings. Like I said, I like to think of this as the upside down. If the world says one thing, the kingdom of God says the opposite. It says the opposite. It says, no, that's not the way it is. You think that the meek are to be trampled on, and those who are valiant and conquerors are the ones who will inherit the land? Nope. Opposite. We could go, if we went Superman, bizarro world here. The kingdom of heaven is bizarro world from the perspective of what works in the world. Okay. You are the salt of the earth, but if salt loses its flavor, how can it be made salty again? It's a rhetorical question. The answer is it can't. Okay, what do we have here? The footnote. Salt was used as seasoning or fertilizer, or a preservative. If salt ceased to be useful, it was thrown away. When the illustration Jesus warned about a disciple who ceased to follow him. The difficulty of this saying is understanding how salt could lose its flavor, since its chemical property cannot change. It is thus often assumed that Jesus was referring to chemically impure salt, perhaps a natural salt, which, when exposed to the elements, had all the genuine salt leached out, leaving only the sediment and impurities behind. Others have suggested that the background of the saying is the use of salt blocks by Arab bakers to line the floor of their ovens under the intense heat. These blocks would eventually crystallize and undergo a change in chemical composition, finally being thrown out as unserviceable. Wow, I didn't know about that. So from the Talmud attributed recounts how when he was asked a question, when salt loses its flavor, how can it be made salty again? It's said to have replied, by salting it with the afterbirth of a mule. Whoa. The point appears to be both are impossible. Yes, the saying, while admittedly late, suggests that culture, the loss of flavor of salt was regarded as an impossibility. Genuine salt can never lose its flavor. Okay. This is a huge text block on what salt is. Yes, yes. So the salt losing its, you are the salt of, so if you are genuinely salt, you have one job to do, and that is be salt. So if you lose, if you cease to be the thing that you are, what value are you? I think that's really the question. So you are the salt of the earth, and if salt loses its flavor, how can it be made salty again? You need to remain salty. So in all of the things above, remember context in all the things above. What did he just say? What did he just say? Blessed are you when people insult you and persecute you and say all kinds of things on account of me. That's the context. You are the salt of the earth. You are the one that's supposed to be making a difference. And if you lose your ability to stand and make a difference, and I'm pointing up, I should be pointing down, but whatever. When you lose that ability to stay salt to the people insulting you, when you stay and stop having the ability to, let me just go back, to be persecuted for righteousness, when you lose the ability to be the peacemaker, when you lose the ability to be pure in heart, when you lose being merciful, when you lose your hunger for righteousness, when you lose being meek, when you lose mourning with people, when you lose being poor in spirit, what good are you, my friend? What good are you? Yes, this context is not generic. This context is about beatitudes. If you stop being peacemakers, if you stop being merciful, what value are you? Should be the question here. Not a new section, not something else. It's all right there. There we go. Yes, there is a good use for the salt email. Okay, let me get caught up on anything that went up. Yeah. It can't be. It must be thrown out. Yes. This is the original. You had one job meme. Oh, but why though? I loving the giant emotes. Those are awesome. I love the giant emotes. Thank you. I'm watching. Okay. If it is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled by people, why would you throw it out to be trampled by people? One, if you're not standing up, you're just being trampled by people for no reason. If you're not standing up, you're being trampled for no reason. Also, this could be thrown out to be trampled like, when you have dirt streets or cobblestone streets or paved, less than just asphalt streets, or even now, salt would be good out on my roads. It can be of some value underfoot, but I don't think that's the point. Trampling, I think, is the point there. A different version, same thing. So you don't like that metaphor? Here's another one. You are the light of the world. A city located on a hill cannot be hidden. People do not light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to the whole house. In the same way, let your light shine before people so they can see your good deeds and honor your Father who is in heaven. How do we let our light shine? Let's go back. By being the poor in spirit, by mourning and comforting those who are mourning, by being meek, by hungering and thirsting for righteousness, by being merciful, by being pure in heart, by being peacemakers, by being persecuted for righteousness. I got to do righteousness in order to be persecuted for righteousness. That's how I let my light shine, by the Beatitudes. Johnny, I think about when I was a lukewarm Christian with the salt discussion. Flavorless. Not having an impact. Ooh, that's a good way. Not letting your light shine. Yeah, it's a light, but it's under a bushel. Then when I was challenged more and iron sharpens iron, I can see the saltiness coming through. Yeah, that's a great thing. You need on some level iron sharpening iron to be able to do that. I need to also see other lights shining to know I can let my light shine. Okay. I'm just realizing a place where I critique all the time and going, yeah, now I see a use for it. Okay, so there's commercials that are out there that somewhere in the Super Bowl, if you saw some of them. I'm not picking on any particular one, but sometimes it's made into commercials, but it also was a thing that I've watched over the last, 10 years, the last decade, and it's well, this is the first person to ever do this, so now that it's been done, people know that they can do it. And I'm like, then how did the first person to do it know they could do it without someone before them? It just drives me nuts. Like, and I'm not picking on anything. It's the first, woman vice president. Great, I love that. Okay, but then it's talked about, or the first black president, or when we get the first woman president, it'll be talked about that way, or the first woman who's in this position. I love all those things. Okay, I love diversity. I love that happening. But the problem is, it is the celebration of it. From the standpoint of, now that it has the first person, people will know they can do it. And my problem is, how did the first person know they could do it if they didn't have the example? And that's how it's presented. But now I'm seeing something different here. It's not that you need to let your light shine to be the first person because nobody knows that you can do it without it. It's if I'm letting my light shine, others who are less likely to be able to be the first one will be encouraged to do likewise. And that's what they don't say. That's what they don't say. If they said that, I would love it. Like, now that we have broken down the racial barrier, I hope we break down the racial barrier, not from the standpoint of I want to break down the racial barrier, but that I don't want to see the color of someone's skin. I want to see the content of their character, and I want to elevate those people with good character to positions. One problem is usually we don't have people of good character running for office, because people with good character are busy doing good things. They're not usually running for office. No disparaging on good people who run for office. Just saying. On the whole, if I average it out, the aggregate tells me less than the character I want is who I hit the vote for on the bulk of it. So, anyway, just suddenly seeing in the context of Scripture what I want them to say, instead of now that someone's done it for the first time, we can all do it. But maybe if we look at Jesus as the one who did it when none of us could do it, and that I mean laying down our life for a friend, not in saving the world, but in living a righteous life, pure and holy and pursuing God, couldn't do it without his example. I'm chasing after the example. I can get it from that standpoint. But from the standpoint of nobody was qualified and able to do that, then I get it. Okay. Just an aside thought, I love having those things and connections, but it always, that level of, well, I didn't wait around looking for, no, actually, I'll take that back. I did have and did see pastors who were streaming, and then decided to do it. I didn't decide to do it because they were doing it, and I saw an example doing it. I didn't see the mission of doing it until I saw others doing it. So in that regard, yeah, they opened my eyes to the possibility of doing it, and now I feel called to do it, and therefore I'm pursuing it. That level of it, I like it. I couldn't do it because nobody had ever done it. Now that someone's done it, I can do it. That just seems like faulty logic to me. It just feels like a really faulty logic. Okay. So, an hour and a half, and we made it through 16 verses. Can we make it through Matthew 5 today, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. I do not like the title here. We're still talking about, Jesus is talking about the kingdom and those who are blessed in the kingdom, and the fact that we need to be pursuing the kingdom. If we're not pursuing the kingdom, we're neglecting the kingdom. Johnny, I saw someone in Key West in public proclaiming their love for the Lord to someone who obviously had different views on their sleeve. That gave me the confidence to continue with being bold about my love for the Lord. Oh, awesome. Yes. Yeah, and when I and I don't think everyone needs to read the Bible on stream. That's just what I do. But when I spend time reading the Bible on stream and praying with people, like we did earlier, and I know other people just do full-on prayer, and they're more gifted in prayer than I am, and pray for, just spend lots of time in prayer. I love those. I'm encouraged by those. I'm encouraged when I see other people reading the Bible. I do it differently than other people doing. Some, shoot, now I'm blanking on his name. Anyway, I can think of 3 or 4 people that I know that don't do anything like I do. They just straight up read a Bible verse, and that's it. Some will read a Bible verse and do a devotion. I'm not called to do those things, and they're not called to do what I'm doing. We all need to do what we're called to. So, in the context of what you're called to do, which is live out those things, which are of the kingdom, which is be salt and light, now Jesus is going to tell us what he is called to do. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish, but fulfill them. Not come to abolish, but fulfill, direct objects. Okay, so they're just stylizing that. Okay. One of the things about fulfilling the law or abolishing the law, this has to do with rabbinical teaching of what you're doing. So one of the things that happens when you have the debate over what is the greatest commandment, there are times where it appears you cannot fulfill 2 commandments simultaneously. So they're in conflict. So you have to hierarchy these things. So when your animal falls in the ditch on the Sabbath, do you violate the Sabbath to save your animal by doing work, or do you honor the Sabbath and let your animal be harmed, injured, or died? Or if it's your neighbor's animal, which do? You have those debates. So what rabbis would do would be to proclaim their understanding of things, and that's what the abolishing and fulfilling has to do with. I'm sure others can explain that better than I do. So this is not just about I do away with. Fulfilling is living it out, is applying it, okay? And abolishing would be a ranking kind of thing, not just get rid of it. I tell you the truth, until heaven and earth pass away, not the smallest letter or stroke of the pen will pass from the law until everything takes place. Okay. Until heaven and earth pass away. Heaven and earth are still here. So this is one of those places where people will argue with Christians about our understanding of the Old Testament. Because there is no New Testament when Jesus is saying this. And he's saying the law and the prophets. The law and the prophets. So the law is going to be the Torah. The prophets are going to be the prophets. But sometimes when you say the law and prophets, you're encompassing the whole of the Old Testament. So you can also throw in all the Psalms and Proverbs and all the wisdom literature in there. So Jesus might be talking about the totality of the Old Testament or just those 2 specific areas. Doesn't matter. But until heaven and earth pass away, heaven and earth is still here. Not the smallest stroke of the letter will pass away until everything takes place. So, then why are we not following the dietary laws? Because they are supposed to be fulfilled. We're supposed to follow them. Why are we not doing the sacrifices of things? Okay? It says, until heaven and earth pass away. It also says, until everything takes place. So, there's several different ways to think about this. Okay? Let me just highlight the whole thing if I can. Heaven and earth pass away. Everything takes place. So you can say, well, in regards to the sacrificial system, everything did take place. The sacrifice of Jesus took place, so therefore the sacrificial system has been fulfilled. There is no need to continue to fulfill it. Some might also make the argument on the dietary laws that those were also fulfilled. That doesn't make sense. How do you fulfill a dietary law? It's an abstaining from something. It's a process of things. It's things you can eat and things you can't do. Don't know how you fulfill that. Others will just jump to Acts 15, or sorry, Peter's vision. That's not 15, that's before then. I want to say 11. No, it's got to be before 11. I don't remember. Anyway, they'll jump to Peter's vision, maybe 12 or 13, and say that's why we don't have to. I disagree. From the standpoint of, it doesn't say that that's why the dietary laws were done away with. It says, don't call anything unclean that I've called clean, and vice versa. And I think that's a reference to the Gentiles. That's what he's referring to, not the food directly, because Peter then does not start eating those things that are, because he says, I have never, 3 times, I have never, and he's not told, well, now you need to. No, it was don't apply the rules of clean and unclean to people. I never did that. Stop applying the rules of clean and unclean to people. So why do I then say I don't need to fulfill the dietary laws? I'm not Jewish. Those were not given to all people. Those were given specifically to the descendants of Abraham through Moses, who agreed to do those. So if I were a descendant of Abraham, I would want to practice those and continue to practice those even if I was a Christian, because I have a reason to fulfill those. I was set apart as an example. That I don't think went away with. And we can have a whole debate, and we did that when we went through Acts, looked at that. But, so I'm just pointing out this section is one of those where I've seen Muslims argue with Christians about how you have disregard for the Old Testament. And you don't even consider the words of Jesus, who says these things. They'll bring these against you. That's why I'm bringing this all up, so that if you have arguments pulled against you, that you're able to say what it might apply to, what it might not apply to. So, does the law pass away? No. But some of those laws never applied to me because I'm a Gentile. So those laws have not gone away, and they still might need to be practiced if I am a God-fearing, I was going to say a God-fearing Jew, but that's not the right. I said God-fearing Gentile is the phrase, but I wanted to say if a Messianic Jew, and I don't mean that from the standpoint of the group specifically, but if I am a Christian who is Jewish in ancestry, I might practice differently than Christians who are Gentiles. So anyway, just an aside there, because I know that's one of those places where this gets brought up. So, anyone who breaks one of the least of these commands and teaches others to do so will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, so then this is why, hey, if I'm teaching you to disobey a commandment, I'm the least. I certainly worry about this one. I certainly worry about this one of teaching someone to disobey a commandment. So I might say, how can you fulfill this in not the letter of the law, but the spirit of the law? So let's just pick the Sabbath, for instance. I know lots of people that have to work on Sunday. You are an emergency responder. Or if you pick the Sabbath day, you still would be the same if it's Saturday or Sunday, whichever day. If you're trying to honor the Sabbath day and keep it holy, set it apart, make it different from other days, and your employer requires you to work on that day, how do you do that? Then you need to find another way to do it than by not working. And in the given day and age, it would be lovely if we all had the capacity to not have to work on that day, but I don't believe that we do. So how do we do that? So that's what I'm talking about. Okay. But whoever obeys them and teaches others to do the same will be great in the kingdom of heaven. So what am I doing here? I am letting my light shine. I am being salt of the earth. That is what he is saying. So Jesus is saying, I've come to fulfill everything, and you need to teach others to do what you already know to do. What you see me do, you're to do. That's how you become great in the kingdom. For I tell you, unless your righteousness goes beyond that of the experts of the laws and Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. So, if you want to talk about just following the letter of the law as the way to get to the kingdom of heaven, can't be done. The Pharisees are doing it, and they can't make it. And you're going to have to be better than them. You're going to have to be superior to them if you're going to just be following it. Hope that's making sense, everybody. So you're going to obey, you're going to be called great. If you teach people to disobey, you're going to be the least. And the reason you need to do this is because you can't do it on your own. Now he's going to start explaining, how do you need to exceed what the Pharisees teach? Because the Pharisees are going to teach a level of standard. Now we're going to go look at what are the Pharisees teaching. Now it's interesting, there's two main rabbis, I can never remember their names, that are basically in the day of Jesus' time, there is a debate between the two. And the Pharisees usually pick one side. And I think in all but one case, Hillel, I think is one of them, Hillel. In all but one case, I believe that Jesus takes the side of one, and in the case around marriage and divorce, I think he picks the other. I might have that wrong. But it's interesting. There's a debate between two schools of camp of how do you apply the Torah. So now Jesus is going to tell us, how do we do this? And he's going to do it through a series of you have heard it said to an older generation. So these sayings are going to take either a law or a common phrase that is said. To the ancient ones, the expression of an older generation can be understood to refer to the Israelites at the time of Exodus, the original audience of the Ten Commandments. Okay, so he's on the Sermon of the Mount. The giving of the law takes place on the Sermon of the Mount. Jesus is going to go here now beyond the giving of the law. Do not murder, and whoever murders will be subject to judgment. These addition words are not part of the commandment and not directly quoted from the Old Testament, and thus are not placed in bold italics, but they form an adequate summary of the Old Testament passage dealing with the legislation. Okay, also, that could be part of what the Pharisees are teaching, that whoever murders will be subject to judgment, or it's a summary. So it could be either or, because you've heard it said. But I say to you, okay, Jesus is going to take every one of these a step further. He's going to take them every one a step further, which is interesting because this is what the Pharisees do. They put a fence around things so you don't violate the thing. But Jesus' fence around things is not a so you don't violate it. It is a changing of the rule to a different perspective. So rather than just a fence that keeps me from violating, it is a mindset and an attitude that's going to change me. But I say to you, anyone who is angry with a brother will be subject to judgment. So not only are you going to be subject to judgment for murder, you should be subject for anger. What? And whoever insults, so what you do in your anger, whoever insults a brother will be brought before the council. And whoever says fool will be sent to fiery hell. So just uttering a word towards them, of using a word against them, moros, is somewhat deposed. Most take it to mean, following the Syriac version, you fool, although some have argued that it references a translation of the Greek rebel. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay, that's just fiery hell, what the actual word is. So, okay, nobody's arguing here about murder and that you shouldn't be punished. But Jesus is saying, equal with it, equal weight is anger. And that anger that I have causes me to be insulting. It causes me to say things, to lash out, whatever it might be. Not only should I be brought before a council, I'm liable for going to hell because of the hate that I have, the anger that I have. Woo! That seems extreme, Jesus. So then, bum, 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 if this is the case, if you bring your gift to the altar and there remember that your brother has something against you. Okay, I want to go look up you, if it's singular or plural. This is one of those things I'm trying to do this year. We haven't come across many, but every time there's instructions, I want to see is that to you singular or you plural. So Matthew 5, we're in 23. This is just my little side project for the year. Second person singular. Okay, so this is a personal personal instruction. Okay. You remember your brother has something against you. Okay. This isn't I have a problem with someone else. Someone else has a problem with me. Someone else is upset with me. And I'm about to give a gift of to the altar. Okay, it could be a free will gift offering. It could be a Thanksgiving gift offering. It could be a sin offering. It doesn't matter. I am bringing an offering to the altar. Now, we might think in terms of giving of our finances because we're not thinking sacrificial system. But it doesn't say specifically what it is. You're bringing it. And it's not you with the problem. It's the other person. So you're not the one angry. So this is how he tells you if you're angry with your brother, you are causing this. This is the opposite. Now your brother's angry with you. How do you fix the situation? Being salt and light, being merciful, being like we haven't left those texts yet. Leave the gift at the altar. First, go and be reconciled to your brother, then come present your gift. So how would you leave the gift? Well, you're probably bringing an animal. You leave the animal there. You go and you're reconciled. Once there's reconciliation, you come. Oh, by the way, I think you're probably supposed to be bringing your brother here because a lot of these feasts, a lot of these offerings were eaten with other people. So if I'm bringing my gift offering and part of it is eaten by the priest, part of it is eaten by those celebrating, I am now bringing my brother with me to the meal. I don't have to, but maybe I am. Because we're reconciled, he comes with as I give my offering, and we fellowship and eat together. Reach agreement quickly with your accuser while you're on your way to court. Okay, so we flipped back again. So we went, if you are angry with someone else, you'll be subject to judgment. We have the flip of it, that someone has something against you, restored. And now we're going to, when someone is legitimately has a problem with you, what should you do? Reach agreement quickly with your accuser while on the way to court, or he may hand you over to the judge, and the judge hands you over to the warden, and the warden throw you in prison. Someone has something against you, solve it. Solve it. I tell you the truth, you will never get out of there until you paid every last penny. So someone has something legit against you, solve it. Go make it right. Do not let it linger. Do not let it fester. Do not let it grow. Why? Be merciful. Be peacemakers. Be pure in heart. Be meek. Be poor in spirit. All of those are being applied here. Okay. Just deciding to do this before or after the ad break in 2 minutes, or try to do it in 7. I'll go ahead and get started. I'll snooze it. We won't get through all of it either way. Okay. You have heard it said, do not commit adultery. But I say to you, whoever looks at a woman to desire her has already committed adultery in his heart. Okay. Desire. Let's go look that word up. Blepo. Blepo.
Strong's G 991. Blepo. Blepo.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Looks at her to desire. I guess I needed to lust after. Okay, sorry, wrong word. That was just the generic looking. Okay. Epitomeo. Ooh, epitomeo.
Strong's G 1937.
Epithumeo.
Epithumeo. Epithumeo.
Turn upon a thing, to desire for, long for, to lust after, to covet. Okay. Oh, that's what I wanted to know, if it shows me Septuagint. It did not show that there was an Old Testament, so this may not be the word used in the Septuagint then. I wondered if it was the word for... So it's 16 times. View OT. There we go. That's what I wanted to look at. And now thou wouldest need gone, but thou soared longest for thy father's house, were there stolen gods. Okay. So it's not the word of sin is crouching at the door and its desire is for you. But it is here in Deuteronomy, desire thy neighbor's wife. Okay, so that would make sense. So this isn't just, hey, she's pretty good looking. I can admire the beauty of creation. I can admire the way that she cares for herself. No. It's beyond that. I begin to be consumed with the idea of possessing, taking. Whether I do that by words or in my mind or, verbally, cat calls or other obscene or obnoxious things. When you are desiring someone that is not yours. That's what we have here. So, Jesus is taking it beyond, I didn't act on it. So, remember, sin is crouching at the door and its desire is for you when Cain is angry. So, murder was crouching at the door. Cain takes that thought. He allows that thought to dwell in him until he acts upon it. It wasn't just at the acting upon, because the one above was if you are angry with your brother, you've already committed it. Jesus was calling us out with Cain, and it already happened. Now he's moving on to the next thing, where we could say, I can just look but don't touch, as I hear people say. No. Jesus says, ixnay on the desire. So yeah, I can look and admire someone's beauty, but when I go beyond that, and I don't know when you go beyond that. That's in your connection, your relationship, when you go beyond that. If if your right eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. It is better to lose one member than your whole body thrown in hell. If Bum, bum. If your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better to lose one of your members than have your whole body go into hell. Okay. These are here, I think, for emphasis on the seriousness of which Jesus is taking this. So, my right eye is going to cause me to look. My right hand is the hand that's going to act, going to grasp. So, if it's dwelling within my eye, I can remove my eye and then lose the lusting, the desire. If it's my hand that's going to now act, I can take my hand off to stop it from happening. So, I don't think this is a call for us to literally do this. In fact, there were people who were literally, I want to say 3rd century, maybe a little bit later, can't remember when it was, 3rd to 5th century, I think, in there, castrating themselves because of this. And the church said, no, that is not how to interpret this. That is not what Jesus is saying to do. We don't need to go around castrating ourselves to do this. What we need is a change of heart and a change of mind so that we don't do the action, not take a step on the end and prevent us from carrying it out. We can still lust in our hearts. We still are going to do the thing and our heart that he's telling us not to, even by taking our members away. Okay, I don't know if the ad break comes in, let me know. I'm not getting an alert yet, but I think we got another 2 minutes. Johnny, if it's in our heart, then it's only a matter of time and circumstance before it is an action. This is great for self-discipline and growth, self-reflection, and where our desires really live and transform towards Christ. Yeah, absolutely. Now let's just take an aside from this of something that I might desire and want, and when do I start dwelling on it? When do I start pursuing the thing, and then evaluate it? So, I really, really want a new bicycle. Okay, my bicycle is about 5 years old, and I'd really like to get a new one. Now, that's just a thought. When I go and I pick out the bicycle, and I start evaluating the cost of the bicycle, and then I start deciding when it's going to go on sale, and I start looking at new bikes. Ad break ends. Sorry, ad break came in. I'll come back to that when we get back from the ad. I'm going to get up and feed the fish this time.
Flat cap Pastor Ox's tweet, streaming life by the reef. Fish pond calm and glassy clear, view it all right from here. Dapper man with Saxon hand, plays tunes by his quiet land. Acoustic guitar in the breeze serenades the fish with ease. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat Cat Pastor shows the way, stream it live come what may. With his cam he shows it all, little fish both big and small. Life in ponds so serene, nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow, hear the music, gentle glow. Flat cap's charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat Cat Pastor shows the way, stream it live come what may.
Refuse Cammy shows it all.
All right, let me know when we're back from the ad break, if you're in ad break.
Life in ponds so serene, nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow, hear the music, gentle glow. Flat cap's charm and
calming tone makes the fish feel right at home.
I think I'm going to hide chat on
Watch
the
fish, they
screen
swim
because it's blocking the
along
fish. It's blocking the fish.
to the rhythm
Ooh,
of
nice
his
close
song.
up view there. Let me just pop up on those.
Pasture
There.
shows the way, stream it live, come what may.
Should be back. Should be back. Oh, thanks, Johnny. You... Okay, I think we're probably back from... So, going back... Anyway, what I was saying is the whole idea of you conceive of the idea, and then it gives birth to you acting upon it. So, if I'm talking about I want a new bicycle because it would be nice, I begin looking at bicycles. Once I identify the bicycle that I want, and I start pricing it out and thinking about it, and I have a picture of it, and I will probably act on it and pursue it. So, it dwells in my mind until I'm consumed with the thought of it, and then I take action against it. Now, what sometimes happens is then I have buyer's remorse afterwards if I didn't give it enough time to actually evaluate it when I'm going to make a purchase. Okay, but we're talking about people here, so it's totally different in that regard. But, yeah. Subdue. This is where we have been the last 2 weeks at church. Oh, cool. And Johnny, yeah, we are called to treat our bodies as a temple. Maiming ourselves is bad theology. Totally agree. Johnny, I read this by myself the first time without someone to give me the wisdom of the entire Bible. I wrestled with this while before I was given some wise words and context. Yeah, absolutely. Also, there was this practice that is not biblical, but I've seen that. I don't remember what it's called. It's kind of like divination on some level, or casting lots, from the sense of you're trying to ask God for something, and then you just randomly open scripture and point to a passage and read that passage and believe that's God speaking to you to answer that to you. So I think back in the day the Kings of England used this practice. I can't remember what it's called, but I also saw it on a TV show as a kid. Little House on the Prairie. I saw this happen, and I can't remember who it was that had an infection of some kind, and they were opening the Bible, and they read this passage, and then whatever action they took saved their life because they cut it off or whatever. I don't remember. But it's like, yeah, it is not good theology to just randomly open the Bible, point at a passage, and believe that's God speaking to you. Now, if you are reading the Bible and a verse comes up and it is speaking to what you're thinking about, that may be. If 2 or 3 or 4 times you have other people mention the same one, yeah, then maybe you're getting closer to it. Then you're getting closer to it speaking to you. Andy, I am very thankful for my family, and I know that I can step up my game still. You have simple goals, but they feel far away. Oh, yeah. Goals can feel far away at times. Johnny, oh, man, along the illness and using the Bible as a spell book, YouTube recommended to me someone who declares himself as a Christian witch. Their whole shtick was using the Bible as a spell book. Very, very bad theology. Yeah. That sounds like some of the stuff happening in the New Testament. Anyway, so the comparison here is about severity. It's better to get rid of your eye, which is going to lead you to looking at things. It's better to get rid of your hand, which is going to act, than to actually do it. But wait, it's your heart that does it. And so you need to change your heart. That's the point. Not cutting off members of your body that are going to be leading to you doing things, but it is you need to change your desires, not cut off body members. Yeah, an oxymoron, a Christian and a witch. Well, we have Simon the sorceress who thought that, well, and we also have other disciples, well, not disciples, but we have people using Jesus' name for their advantage of casting out demons, and then the demon says, yeah, I don't know you, buddy. And we could even include Balaam in there, too, with being able to contact the true God in divination, but then not following. So, yeah, I would say if they are a Christian, they are the weaker brother or sister if they are calling themselves a witch and using witchcraft, if they have any true faith. And I wouldn't know that without having a conversation. Yeah, Christian witchcraft, very attractive to young people who may be raised in the church but never really committed to the Lord. Ooh, I can take what I learn and use it for the common good type of thing. Young Christians need to be aware of types of evil. Yeah. Okay. So we just talked. Oh, divorce is the next one. So we have adultery and then divorce. It was said, whoever divorces his wife must give her a legal document. But I say to you that everyone who divorces his wife, except for immorality, makes her commit adultery, and whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Okay, let's parse the second half of this. If you divorce your wife except for adultery, you make her commit adultery. Okay? So this isn't Jesus saying the one way that you can get a divorce biblically that is okay is because of immorality. No, he's saying the thing you've not thought about, friends. If you divorce your wife, you have set your wife up to commit adultery. That's what you are doing to her. Your actions towards her cause this sin to abound in her. Why? Because if you divorce her, she needs to be taken care of, and as she is seeking to be taken care of and gets remarried, there was no adultery that already happened. Now you are putting that upon her. And then you, if you remarry a divorced woman, you commit adultery. So you, if you marry the woman who was divorced when there was no adultery in there. So he's tying this on the back of the adultery thing, because adultery was not the only reason why you could get a divorce. In fact, this is one of the debates between what were the legal, because there's, and I don't know the whole thing, it's the phrasing of this and or this or in the Old Testament is the part of it. And so there are arguments among the rabbis that if your wife simply burnt dinner, you could divorce her, is the extent to which they would go. Anything that's unpleasing to you, you can divorce her. And the other side is, no, that's not justified. You can't do that. You are causing harm. So Jesus is taking the side of do no harm. Okay? You instead of taking the stance of the legal status says I can do this, Jesus is arguing you're doing something worse when you do that. You're worried about adultery up above, and you're going to go divorce your wife because of means less than that. You are causing another circumstance. So I don't think, and I think there's other places where similar things are said and talked about, but this is not about Jesus saying there's only one legal status for divorce. This is Jesus saying you willy-nilly go through divorce. You're not thinking about the consequences that you do to other people. So that's I think what's going on here. Johnny, I'll send you the YouTube on Discord. Yeah. Subdue. Same thing goes the other way around, wife to husband. Yes. Well, women had no legal standing to get a divorce. Women had no legal standing, so therefore there is nothing said about women in this day and time. But yes, as of today, we would be able to apply it both directions. But also, I don't think that this section here is about divorce in the sense of is it right or not right. This is about the attitude towards it. Jesus is attacking our attitudes. When I am going to act out of, why would I get a divorce? Selfish reasons, self-motivated, not considering the other person. So I'm not loving God and I'm not loving my wife as myself. That's what he's addressing here. I'm just tired of her. I want to trade her in for a new model. That's the joke in my household always, is the trade-in for a new model. My wife and I like to joke about that. I'm like, man, I'm not trading in for a new model. I mean, you might have the new car smell, but I don't want to break it in again. I mean, getting a new car, you have to break it in, and you got to figure out where the seat needs to sit right, and it's not comfy, and I got to adjust the steering wheel and the mirrors. No. I got everything adjusted the way I like, not adjusting anything. Oh, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Andy. You can join the Discord. This is the community Discord. This is the Discord that I do more stuff with around being a digital missionary. And I'm going to start doing more about that and promoting that more. And then there's also, I don't know if this will come up. Sorry. Nope, that didn't come up. That'll just come up later then. I'm also in another Discord I'm in several Discords for streamers that I'm connected with. So. But anyway, in the TCD, join the community over there if you are a streamer and you want to have, and I'm going to start promoting this more, help suggestions on being a digital missionary. Okay, my focus, so that like Taco Network and ReachCon are focused on your content and your those things. I'm going to focus more on your culture and your theology of being a missionary. So those are the things I will focus on more, and I'll be talking about that more in the next week or so. Okay, I got to get some stuff together to put out, and I will probably do my pitch if it's okay. I'll probably do my pitch. I don't know how to put that in my ad of doing my pitch for that, but we'll do that on Friday for Streamiversary, and I'll probably clip it. Okay. Well, okay. My focus on theology is, I should say, missiology. So the theology of being a missionary is where I will focus. I'm not going to focus on all the different aspects of different denominations and those kinds of things. It's really the theology of being a missionary. So I should say missiology is what I should say, I guess. And again, if you're new, I often say, in regards to reading the Bible and my theology and my practice, I believe that I have 80% correct. I have 80% of it correct. The problem is I don't know which is the 20% that I need to change and which is the 80% I have correct. Can a Christian witch join DC4C? No. Nope. Could a Christian witch join my Discord? Yes. Anybody can join my Discord. I have no qualifications on my Discord. Could a Christian witch join the the TCD Discord? Yeah. Anybody can join that. There wouldn't be very much for them, I hope, other than if they hang around and we can be salt and light to them. That's the extent to which I would want to invite them in. So, oaths. Okay, in some ways, this like, why are we going to oaths? Well, you would have made an oath on some level when you get married. There is a commitment level there. So now we're going to go from a covenant that you make with someone, and then by writ of divorce, you're breaking it. Now we're going to go to another thing that they do. You still believe this is an oxymoron? Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm not dissuaded of that. Again, you have heard it said to an older generation, do not break an oath, but fulfill your vows to the Lord. But I say to you, do not take an oath at all, not by heaven, because it is the throne of God, nor by earth, because it is his footstool, nor by Jerusalem, because it is the city of the great king. Do not take an oath by your head, because you are not able to make one hair white or black. Let your word be yes, yes, or no, no. More than this is from the evil one. Yeah, wild, yes. Okay, what's going on here? What is Jesus addressing here? So, what is happening here? And he gets a little bit of it, but I think in one of the other Gospels it said a little bit differently, by the temple or by the gold in the temple kind of a thing. So what you're doing is making oaths with a hierarchy, knowing that you're going to break some, because you're going to make the oath with the intent of breaking it. Okay, we will say, you know, like, I swear on my mother's grave kind of a thing. I mean, I don't say that, but people will say that, like, you know, trust me, believe me, you know, those kinds of things. But when you are making oaths, you would call the gods to witness those. So that's where he's going of, by heaven, I'm going to swear by the throne of God in heaven. I'm going to swear by earth, his footstool. I'm going to swear by Jerusalem, because that's where the great king is. So if I swear by Jerusalem, it's a lower level swearing by than swearing by heaven. It is less than. So I'm going to promise you, Johnny, that I'm going to send those stickers out to you ASAP by one of my mods. Yes, I'm going to swear by my mods that I will do that. But then I swear to someone else something that takes precedent, and these were the last stickers I had, and so instead of sending those stickers to you, I send them to Andy, because to Andy I promised that I would send them to her by my flat cap. And so since my flat cap is more valuable than my mods, and it's really not, but I'm just making an analogy here, I have to fulfill the one to Andy and not to you, Johnny. So sorry, missed out. So close. I intended to, but I had a higher obligation. Yeah, I know. I was going to get a reaction, so I did that. By one of my mods ducking, so it's not me. Yes. This is why I didn't name a mod. Okay, so you get my point. This is what they were doing. I promised to give you this a piece of property or this thing that I have. I'm going to do this for you on behalf of this. Oh, but by the way, I made another promise to someone else. I can't fulfill it. You need chocolate and hugs. Okay. I'll remedy that to my mods. Oh, wait. Come on. There we go. Okay. But that's the point of what's going on here, is they're doing something with an intentional violating. That's why he says yes is yes, no is no. Can I send you a sticker? Yes. Will I do it? Yes. Can I send you a sticker? No. So I can't. I mean, just make it clear. When I'm trying to please you, but then I won't actually fulfill it, that is of the evil one. That's what he's saying. Like, you are doing these things, you're juggling these things around, you're not doing stuff and you're trying to pretend that you are. Why? Because you asked me about it in public. So that would be like, I do it here on stream. Absolutely everybody's getting a sticker. And then I DM you all privately. Oh, sorry, I had only one left. I meant to do it, but I didn't. But I promised it to someone else first. So I had to give it to them. That's the kind of practice they're doing. He's like, that's the evil one. Don't make those other promises you aren't going to plan to do. Stop it. Okay. Johnny, this section on oath really made me hesitate to get married. I was engaged a few times, and it made me really think about it. If I didn't, I'm sure I would have been divorced. Taking it seriously, making sure that it really means something, not just a fun thing to do, I believe helped me to my 10-year anniversary this year. Oh, 10 years, dude. Awesome. Johnny, and then we are also allowed to change our minds as new information is learned. So wisdom and prayer and consulting with other God-fearing. Yes, yes. This is about intentionally lying when you're doing these things. Not, I made an oath, I intended to do it, it was a yes, and circumstance changed, and I'm going to explain the circumstances. It wasn't a, I promised it to you, but then I had to give it to someone else. Like I have two mugs here. Like, I could only promise these mugs to 2 people if I were to do that. I'm not doing that, by the way. But if I promise these to 4 people, I can't fulfill that. I know I can't fulfill that when I make those promises. So, if I've already promised this to someone, I need to fulfill it. That's the point. You have a wish list for chocolate. Dark chocolate with peanut butter is your favorite? You'd be sad if you didn't get your sticker. Yeah. Subdue. The worst part about marriage is it can be serious for you, but you honestly don't know the commitment. Oh, yeah. The other person is willing to give, and that's hard. The hardest part. Yeah. You can both enter with the greatest amount of commitment that you can, but you do not know what's going to happen in life. And you do not know how the other person will react to those things that you react to. So what I have seen often when people get divorced is one person feeling neglected or not connected, or they're seeing things differently, and one person will try really, really, really hard for a long time, and the other person doesn't see the problem. By the time the second party, and it doesn't matter male or female here, the second party finally decides that they need to change things in the relationship and work on the relationship and avoid the selfishness that they've had, the other person has given up, and they're no longer able to stay committed to it, regardless of any of the circumstances of things. I'm just saying that's observations. So if one person in your marriage is telling you that you need to work on things and change, don't delay. That's all. That's my whole point there. Don't delay. God and our faith is the glue that keeps your marriage together. Awesome. Hey, Uncle Teddy with the biddies. Awesome. Okay. So we have no oath breaking. Retaliation. Okay. You have heard it said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, resist the evildoer. Oh, does this not sound like blessed are you when they persecute you and say false things against you for my name's sake? We have not left the Beatitudes, friends. We have not left the Beatitudes. All of these things are explanations on how to be salt and light. What are the Beatitudes? They're ways to be salt and light. Okay, this is how I see the whole of this, okay? It is all interconnected. We haven't left the conversation yet. And Uncle Teddy, if you've been here and just joining, appreciate you, friend. We're in Matthew 5. Okay, so an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist the evildoer. But whoever strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him the other as well. And if bum, bum. If someone wants you to take your tunic, let him have your cloak also. And if, bum, 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 if someone forces you to go a mile with him, go with him too. Give to the one who asks, and do not reject from the one who wants to borrow from you. So the application here does not seem like it is connected. So I'll hopefully can make this all fit together. So what you've heard is retaliation is viable. Vote for me and I'll set you free. I'm not sure what that was about. I'm watching. So he's talking about injustice. Temple Snell, welcome in. So if someone strikes you on the right cheek, turn them also the left. So there's this whole thing of culture about, and I don't remember it exactly. Like if you're striking on the right cheek, which hand you need to do that with. And then turning to the other side is a cultural thing that's, oh, it's from Sister Act. Okay. I didn't realize that. Of what's going on. But also, what he's doing in all three of these examples is showing publicly the wrong that is being perpetrated against you. So turning the other cheek for you to get struck on the other cheek is calling attention to the wrong that was just done. When someone is going to take your tunic, give your coat also. Okay, so there's a whole thing about you would give your tunic in pledge for something, your coat, but you're supposed to return it at night so that they would not be cold at night. I think this is people are taking it and not returning it to you. They are taking it. So you're going to make it obvious of the wrong being done to you. Roman soldiers could legally force you to walk a mile with them. They were not allowed to do it for 2. So by you walking 2 miles, you're pointing out the wrong that was already done to you. So rather than retaliate, you do things, which I could say are nonviolent, to demonstrate wrong has been done to you. That's how you respond. But then he goes a different direction. So when someone asks you, give to the one who asks and do not reject, and who wants to borrow you, or to anyone who wants to borrow from you. Okay, wait a minute. So these sounded like abuses that were happening to me, and now he's gone even further, it feels like. This is what Jesus keeps doing. He keeps going a step further. So, okay, not only when someone asks something wrong of me that they should not ask, and I give it because I'm forced to, but also when someone asks and I don't reject who wants to borrow from me. So this is taking from me in some instance, wronging me, and then there's also the someone wanting, and I'm to be generous. So like this is like you think it's here, he goes further, he goes even deeper. Okay. Would this be an example of embracing precaution? Say more about what you mean by that, embracing precaution. I think I know what you mean, but I want to be clear. Chovy in the house. Oh, persecution. Okay. Sorry, I read that wrong. That's why it didn't make sense. Persecution. On some level, yes. Yes, there is a level of, like, for instance, the walking a mile would be a level of persecution. The second one of taking your tunic would be a level of abuse. And then there's more on the hitting your cheek, which would be social standing. So if you want to go with social on the cheek, financial on the taking your tunic, and the walking a mile could be persecution. Yeah, you could divvy it out in those 3 different ways. I don't think the first 2 are necessarily persecution. I mean, the hitting your cheek could be, but I think it's more social. But yeah, you could say, no, I don't, like, evil is happening. I point out evil by allowing it to show itself for what it is. I show it to be evil by giving into it instead of resisting. So yeah, persecution would definitely show that. Conroy, welcome in. And does this foreshadow the sacrifice Jesus made for us on the cross? You could see it as foreshadowing, but I don't think you have to. You could see it as foreshadowing that Jesus will live out when he's struck, he doesn't retaliate. When he's accused of things, he doesn't retaliate. And that he carries out letting them do the abuse to him. So in that regard, yeah. In that regard, you could see it as it foreshadows that he lives it out. But I don't think in him telling us this that we should see that Jesus was telling everybody and foreshadowing it for everybody listening when he gave this message, if that makes sense. Okay. Okay, last one, and we're going to stop there. Even though I would like to keep going, we'll come back to recap, but I want to at least finish chapter. Wow, only 5 today. Makes sense. Makes sense. You have heard it said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. Where does it say hate your enemy? Let me see the footnote. The phrase hate your enemy does not occur explicitly in the Old Testament, but is commonly inferred passages like Jesus' hearers and Matthew's readers would have been surprised by the statement in the antithesis Jesus gives in the following verses would be shocked him. Yeah. And it probably could have been a common phrase that was used. So when he's saying, you've heard it said, okay, probably are things that are like, people will say today, hate the sin but love the sinner. I hate that phrase. It's not in Scripture. It is not in Scripture. I don't believe it's biblical. Okay? Yes, there are passages that says that God hates sin here or there, or that we are to hate sin in some ways, but they are not given in reference in the statement in the way that we are implying it. It's just, no. And what we usually are saying there is, it's my excuse to be able to treat people without love because I have to hate the sin, and there's no way to let them know I hate the sin without treating them that way. So I have to hate the sin, but I love them. I really do. I just will not show it. I won't tell them that. I would just treat them that way. Sorry. You can tell I have an issue with that. Somebody should have clipped that. Okay. You have heard it said, love your neighbor and hate your enemies. But I say to you, love your enemies. See, here's why I don't think it can be true. Jesus says, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. And yeah, I think this is connected up above. And yeah, it's all connected back to the Beatitudes and being salt and light. Why are we to pray for those who persecute you? So you may be like your Father in heaven, since he causes the sun to shine on the evil and the good, and he sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. Yeah, tell us how you really feel about it. Yep. For if, if you love those who love you, what reward do you have? Even the tax collectors do the same, don't they? And if, you only greet your brothers, what more do you do? Even the Gentiles do the same, don't they? So then be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. The Roman system of taxation. Oh, the wrong one. This resembles Leviticus. Be holy as I am holy. Yes. So it's a reference alluding to Leviticus there. Be like your Father. Oh, weren't we supposed to be called children of God if we were peacemakers? The peacemakers will be called children of God. How can I hate my enemy and be a peacemaker and be a child of God? I can't be. I have to love my enemy and pray for those who persecute me. This is what I love about this idea. I cannot curse you to your face and pray for blessings to God about you. One of them is a lie. One of them is a lie. I cannot simultaneously curse you and hate you and pray for God to bless you. If I am praying for you, I am going to bring my heart into alignment with my prayers, or my prayers are lies. That's what I see. So praying for your enemy is the act of bringing your heart into a line with God, seeing them as someone created in his image, worthy of his love, because he causes the rain to come on the just and the unjust, the sun on the just and the unjust. Comfy Hobbit, welcome in. Let me come back to that in just a second. We got to, you know what, actually, Capper. Why do you think that the emphasis is on exposing sin rather than showing? Oh, that would be in the previous one. Of here is exposing sin in the retaliation. Because I see it there because the actions that you do expose it. As I see you're doing more, you're adding to the unjustness that happens. So I can say more about that in a minute. Hey, thank you. Let me get my raid song coming in for all you raiders. Thank you coming in for the raid. Appreciate it. All right, who do we have coming in? Comfy Hobbit coming in with the raid of 14. I appreciate you. Darth Sauron. Darth Sauron 2001. Thank you. Don't trust. It's Degent. Is that right? Degent? Don't trust Degent. He a hacker and a bully. Okay, we got some banner going back. But greetings from the Hobbitverse. Okay. Greetings from the best hole in the whole world. All right. Just say gent. Okay. Thank you. All right, so you can see I'm usually on stream. There's some old clips in there. Did we get my fish? My fish are in there as well. There we go. There is Wywis, the albino Plecostomus, as he does rearranging furniture and the like. Okay. I'll come over here for a minute. So, by the way, thank you for coming in. I have a 3-year Twitch affiliate stream going on Friday that you're welcome to come in. Named after the music. Ooh, I don't think I know that. Comfy Hobbit. Hope all is well. I'm off to make some brekkie for the kiddos. Have a good day, friend. Thank you, Comfy Hobbit. Have a great breakfast. Oh, you missed some, Samarella? Well, glad to have you back. Johnny, I just realized you have I guess they have a Gate Zero shirt on. It's a video game, not quite out yet, but it is in beta testing, I guess is the way to say it, as they are working on it. So it is, I like to say, Assassin's Creed meets biblical times, where you're traveling back in time and you are seeing what it would look like in Jesus' day. So. I missed something there. What did you say that I missed, Darth Sauron? And Lusa said me neither, so. Oh, okay, probably you don't stream. Okay. Do you remember the Moses game on Sega? I did not have Sega. So I did not. So anyway, thank you all for coming in. You can see right here, Wywis, who is the albino Plecostomus, and he got named on stream. We had a contest. I'd show you the close-up cams, but only can see his fin right now. So just as good a view of him right here. So I have a bunch of koi. I also have a koi channel, and you can go and hang out with my koi. I actually was thinking of rating my channel today and then doing collab, co-working stream today. But I didn't get the cam fully set up, so probably not going to do that today. But that is, yes, an albino Plecostomus, yes. Yes, he is an albino Plecostomus. So, no, it's a PL. Plecostomus, I believe, not Plecostomus. I read in the Bible. Let me go show you where we are reading. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 7:45 a.m. EST is the start time every day. Each day depends how long I go. Mondays, I'm usually free to go longer than 10 o'clock, and we have today. On Wednesdays, I get to go just about an hour, and that's it. And other days, usually around 10. Yes, he eats algae, yes. He eats algae. I also have little pellets that I can throw in there as well to help him have more than he needs. Oh, is he going to show off? He's above the cam, so I can't show you. He's going upside down, or he's on the back wall. I also have a pond that's outside, which is shut down for the winter, but I do have an underwater cam that is out there that you can see as well. I have a cam on this fish tank. You can see the fish tank that's hidden here behind the anniversary. There is a guppy tank over there. There is another koi tank over there. There is a pond outside. No cam on the pond right now for the winter. I have a cam on Lake Superior, so that's all on the other channel. And I'm going to be doing some collab on there when I get that set up so that we can hang out. We can co-work, not collab. I keep saying collab instead of co-work. Co-work. So I am a pastor. I am not currently working in a church. I'm waiting to hear back from a church. Supposed to be setting up a second interview, and we'll see where that goes. I have a prayer booth in my local artisan market that I have down there. I've worked in several churches over the year, and I am working on helping people become digital missionaries. So if you're interested in that, come join me over on the TCD Discord if you're interested in what it means to be a digital missionary. If you are just wanting to join the community here, a family-friendly Christian community, you don't have to be a Christian to be here, but one that is going to love and care for you. I'd love you to just hang out. So we were just finishing up in Matthew 5 when you came in. Temple, I just finished preaching a series on Jude yesterday. I have really interesting questions about Enoch now. The best place I can tell you to go is Michael Heiser for questions on Enoch. He was an Enochian scholar, and so he has lots of material on Enoch. Naked Bible Podcast will have some of it and can probably point you in directions of other stuff. I believe he has his own website, too. I just never have gone there. So you were asking, if we go back over here, you were asking about why I was saying it is, I think there's two levels here. One is some harm is coming to you, and you point out the harm. Instead of retaliating about the harm, you demonstrate the social faux pas or the violation of the law or the abuse. I think those are three different levels there, and maybe I'm making distinctions on those three levels that aren't fully there. I might be seeing more than's there. But there are different ways in which people would retaliate when someone does something against you, and he says, don't. And then he goes further and he says, give to everyone who asks of you. And then he goes to the next level, which is loving your enemies. I don't think these people here are necessarily enemies. These are people that do something against me, and I point out the wrong that is done. Here in loving my enemies, this is established that they are my enemy, that they have something hostile against me on an ongoing basis. And maybe I'm wrong on that too, but that's how I'm seeing it. So I don't know if that fully answered your question, Temple. If not, let me know. Oh, yeah, about 20% of Jude is reference to Enoch. Yeah, I thought it was higher than that, but even so, it is a high percentage of Jude is directly referencing Enoch, that's for sure. My mother-in-law last fall was doing a Bible study on Jude, and she said it was the hardest Bible study she ever did. And like often she'll ask me questions about what she's doing, and she leads Bible studies, and they pick one, and then she co-leads it. She often is asking questions about, and I told her I got resources and whatever. She didn't, I think she was struggling with it too much. She didn't even decide to ask me many questions. Okay, Samarella, I'm watching. Thought of you coming to your stream, but things are going or didn't have the mindset. Oh, yeah. No worries, Sam. And anyway, that needs to, so, okay. This needs to happen. Okay, I've been saying this for a while. I need it for Streamiversary. Affiliate anniversary, sorry. Is Lurk is Love emote. I need that by Friday. Lurk is Love. I need that launched for Friday. I need that launched for Friday. It is on my list. I keep saying I need that. It's now on the list. by Friday for affiliate anniversary. Need to have it there. Okay, so those, I was mentioning the fish. Let me show you the fish a minute. So there we have the koi that are behind me, the koi that are over in the corner, the lake at Lake Superior, and the guppy cam. I have one other aquarium with no cam on it right now. They're the least good-looking fish, I think. They're mostly white. And then I have an underwater that's on my other channel. I don't put that on this one. And then the one cam will get moved outside to look at the waterfalls in the in the summer, not while it is in wintertime. So there we go. Okay, let me get back. Gamer Night, morning. Hey, welcome in. Temple. It may very well be more than that. Those are just the really obvious places. Oh yeah, exactly. There's often levels at which are much deeper in the context of the people who are in the passage than we see. And so I am constantly learning from places. So yeah, when you go to look at Jude and you're seeing that much, I learned from more people that, oh, this also, by the way, was an allusion to that. Like, for instance, if you go study the book of Revelation, which we did at the end, or the beginning of this year we did, I can't even see all the references to the Old Testament that John is doing. John is taking 2 and 3 and 4 examples at the same time and weaving them together as he's telling the story about things. And so you might see one, but he's also alluding to another that he's referencing in there by just giving you one word that if you're reading it in the, well, it'd be Greek, you would see the Greek word used from another story, used from a phrase that's in there. Even if it's just like 2-3 words, you go, oh, I know that phrase. And so you would know it in context, and it doesn't translate in English, and you don't translate the English of the Old Testament and the New Testament usually the same because they're two different groups working on Old and New. They're not usually the same group, and you don't have alignment there. You really miss it in English. So there are so many layers and levels, and then we debate about it. Is this an allusion to? Is it a quotation from? Well, it's not directly. Should we mention it? Should we not mention it? Oh, all that's going on. So, yeah, Jude the same way, especially when I don't know Enoch well enough to know if he's quoting from Enoch. I only know that he does. Jude is a good read, but for sure a heavy read, yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Lurk and work. Ooh, you got this one, yeah. Lurk and work. Lurk und work. Lurk und work. Very nice. I like the way that looks. I want to do Lurk is love, though. That's what I want to do. Lurk is love. Cross-reference Bibles are great for Revelation study. So many references. Yeah. But, Johnny, even at that, there's people who are talking about that, like, even at that, like, John references and alludes to things that it might not even be quoted at all. So it's hard to see them. Temple, I think the most perplexing that is maybe we won't say Enoch is inspired, but at the least, it seems like we have to say that the parts of Enoch that Jude references are true. I think that's a fair statement. But if we think that Jude references places where Enoch says the angels who rebelled against God are imprisoned in the deep darkness, if that is true indeed, how did the book of Enoch know this? Yeah, that's not in the Bible. So where'd Enoch get the idea that turned out to be true? That's some kind of special revelation, supernatural knowledge. Yes. Yeah, and those that don't know Enoch, who are new in here and don't know what the conversation we're alluding to is, let's just go over to Genesis 6 a minute, because this is where that takes place. Is coming from Genesis 6, which we haven't got to yet, so this will be coming up shortly. Okay, so whenever humankind began to multiply in the face of the earth and the daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humankind were beautiful. Thus they took wives for themselves from any they chose. So the Lord said, my spirit will not remain in humankind indefinitely, since they are mortal, they will remain for 120 years more. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also after this, who were the sons of God, who slept with the daughters of humankind, who gave birth to their children. They are the mighty heroes of old, famous men. Okay, so this is the whole thing that Enoch, or one of the books of Enoch is referencing and talking about, is spiritual beings of some kind having relations with humankind and then producing offspring. That's the whole thing. And Enoch is trying to explain when, where, how, all those kinds of things. So that's what's part of what's going on there. And if you're going, whoa, that's weird and all of that, you're right. It is weird and all of that. Temple Snail, Bible is not the only book, right? Oh, yes. And if that's some kind of special relation, how could the author of Enoch have received it? One of the other things too, Temple, to kind of like bring into that conversation, I don't know directly with Enoch, but just the conversation of other books that are not in Scripture, is that Kings and Chronicles refer to other books aren't all the deeds of them written in the Chronicles of the Kings, and there's other books referred to in the Old Testament as well. I want to say Jasher might be another book, if I remember right, that's referred to. But also, I think here's the way I would go in the direction of explaining Enoch on some level, maybe. Not directly, but Paul quotes from... is it a Greek poet or philosopher? In him we move and live and have our being. I believe that is a quote from Greek philosophers or poets. How did the poet find and know that, and how did Paul use that? So, did the poet know the truth that they were really revealing and knowing or not? Or it took Paul to see it? So maybe Enoch did have some, and I don't know how Enoch got the knowledge, and it's not really Enoch. It's just a book, pseudepigrapha, which means a pseudonym. You writing it, in the voice of. I have no clue how to answer that question. So there's the short and long of it. JohnnyChristianity.com. Why isn't the book of Enoch considered scripture? Because scholars do not consider the book of Enoch to be scripture. A book must be considered God-inspired and written word to qualify. Sorry, it jumped on me. Those books fit the scripture canon, which has a long history of being accepted and accurate, true, and authoritative teaching. Various features define the Bible canon. Yes. Oh, what did I miss? Yes. Samarella, of course you are. You're created by God, and Jesus died for you and all of us. Absolutely. Samarella, I'm not sure how true this is, but there are 83 scriptures or transcripts, and some archaeologists believe they could be even more, even though some of what we read in the Bible has been changed and not 100% translated. They got everything from this script that was left by their ancestors. Yeah, it depends on which books you're talking about, Samarella, and there's all kinds of things. And that's one of the reasons that, I use the footnotes. Well, over here, I got to get the right direction there. The footnotes over here is because they often will explain those differences of when they're happening. Or here's the references. It does more than that. Let me see. We had one not too long ago when there's variants. But one of the things that happens in some of these variants, so for instance, if you take English spelling you can have potato with no E on the end. If you have it spelled in England, you put an E on the end of it. If you spell color in the United States, there's no E on the end of it. If you spell it, or there's a U in it if you spell it in Britain. So some of those are spelling differences that it's just a difference of style of spelling things. Others can be explained, which end up being word changes of of scribal errors, copying things. You have like this, the same 3 letters here, the same 3 letters here. You look at the page, you copy down, you look back, you jumped. We do those kinds of things. So if you're doing it by hand, some of those are those things. But yeah, there are some that have more differences in them, and we wrestle with them of sometimes somebody was adding to it for explanation, and at one point it might have been margins or notes in the margin of explaining what's in the text, but then at some point it made it into the text instead of in the margin. So some of those things happen. And the 83, I believe, is the Ethiopic Coptic Bible, which has the bulk, the most. And so the difference between the Protestant Bible and the Catholic Bible is the, what is it called? It's not the Apocrypha. Is it the Apocrypha? Anyway, there are, between the Old Testament and New Testament, some books that were written. And some of those books were not written in Hebrew, so the Jews would have found them as valuable but not authoritative like Scripture, and they were not written originally in Hebrew. When we get to the Protestants throw out those books in between because they weren't written in Hebrew. And then there's some other reasons why. But one of the things of books becoming accepted is they were considered widely accepted by many people, and over a length of time, they became to be acknowledged as authoritative and true, and some were excluded. And some of the early church fathers would write about, here's their list, and another one would write about another list, and over time, that list of what we believe became solidified. And as we look at the oldest copies we have, and we don't have full copies at times, we look at the oldest copies we have. They are very, very reliable with few changes between the oldest and the Textus Receptus, which would be the text we receive, which is what you were referring to there, from what we got handed down to us. So it's a great conversation, but this is why a lot of the text notes will help with those things. Let me get caught up on the rest of chat. You think there are 5,000 I don't know what the total number is, Johnny. And then there's a difference between the Old and the New Testament. Most of what we're talking about is New Testament. Most use the Masoretic text for the Old Testament as a whole and don't usually use other things brought in. But some are starting to use the LXX, the Septuagint, which would have been the Greek translation, to help understand discrepancies. When the New Testament seems to be quoting something different than the Masoretic text, is they'll go to the Greek Septuagint, which I really think is valuable. Plus, we've got some things from the Dead Sea Scrolls that we can bring light on it. Temple, well, the things Paul quotes don't seem to require any special revelation to come true. True. I was only giving an example of where that happens elsewhere. That we would fully know was not, or didn't have to be the Holy Spirit revealing it from the sense, it could be natural revelation. That was my point. But I don't know how Enoch gets, that would get natural revelation to understand that. Going down a rabbit hole of research and why 66 books of the Bible is fascinating. Wesley Hoff is a wonderful historian today who presented the history of the Bible well on YouTube. Yeah, he would definitely be one that is worth watching. One source says there are 6,700 transcripts, of which only 2,850 was able to be translated. I think there is a lot of mystery with the ones that is not known much. Yeah, well, and some of it too might be some of the stuff that came with the Dead Sea Scrolls And they're still working on some of the translation of that stuff. Yeah, Apocrypha. Yeah, okay, I got it right. Oh, no. Enoch's not in the Apocrypha. No, I was talking about the difference of the canon between the Protestant and Catholic. Enoch is in the pseudepigrapha. Pseudonym, so false writing is what it's called. So it's writing under a name that's not your real name, like a pen name kind of a thing. Samarella, most of the time I don't feel like I'm any special though, and lots of the time I just awkward and weird. I understand the awkward and weird. I am all the time. You got peaches and you're allergic to peaches. Well, digital peaches don't cause allergies. Cat Jam, welcome in, Supersonic. Chovy, good to see you with a T. All right. Thank you all for coming in. This is great conversation. Good stuff going on. We made it through Matthew 5. I do not want to start I've got stuff I need to get done for today. Like I said, I was hoping to maybe do a co-working stream, but I didn't get it set up in time to do that. I need to check my Discord, a whole bunch of other things, and all of that. So, thank you, Raiders, for coming in. Let's find someone that we can go bless and raid out today. Oh, that's not the one I want. Dashboard. That's what I need. Oh, by the way, Aki and Fam. Aki and Fam. Oh, I need to do a shout out there. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong thing. There we go. Go follow Aki and Fam. Aki and Fam is celebrating 5 years on Twitch today. They will be on the front page. I don't know what time they are starting today. But go follow them. We will try to raid them tomorrow if they are live tomorrow. So let me go see who we can go raid and bless today. But I definitely, if Aki is up, would want to go and check Aki out. So, oh, Barry Copeland is up. Have not seen Barry in a while. Definitely, let's go get some music going on. Okay, we're gonna go over and bless Barry Copeland. Love the guy. He is across the pond. And does music. Do you think more about what I come to fulfill the law about today? Oh, were you not here when we were talking about that? The coming to fulfill the law. So there is, if my understanding. Oh, you weren't. Okay. My understanding, as those were talking about Jewish rabbis, fulfilling the law is how you apply the law, how you talk about the law. So, as opposed to setting aside the law. So you are either fulfilling the law or you're setting it aside. Some of that has to do with when you have two laws that seem like you can't carry them both out at the same time, like honoring the Sabbath day and, loving your neighbor as yourself and doing good deeds on the Sabbath. Sometimes those are in conflict. Which is the higher one? So some of as I've heard people talking about Jewish rabbis and their practice, the fulfilling of the law has to do with carrying it out from the standpoint of this is the piece versus setting it aside for this is the one that's not. So I think on some level, so that's part of what's going on when you have the debates between, do I love God or love my neighbor as myself? They're both the same. Do I love my neighbor as myself or do I keep the Sabbath day? Which those are the two big arguments, really, is honoring the Sabbath, obedience to the law, or loving your neighbor. Those would be in conflict at times. And I think at some level, Jesus is saying, here's the way it's going to be. I'm going to do that just like other rabbis. But I do think there's a deeper level at which he is saying, I can do both at the same time. I am not going to do your pattern of set aside the loving God and loving neighbor and obeying Sabbath. I have found a way to do them both, to not have one come up on the other one. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's kind of where I'm leaning in that understanding of it from what I've heard of others who are talking about the Jewish rabbis and how they would use that phrase. So, and the usual suspects would be the ones I would go to and probably listen to. Bema podcast would be one of those, talking about how rabbis look at things. I might have heard it in there. I'm watching. Is it sinful to work on the Sabbath if the prophets are for others? Well, Jesus is accused of the healing on the Sabbath, which they would have considered was work. So I'm right here. Start the stream. Restart the stream. There's a VOD for that. There's a VOD for that. So yeah, Jesus does address that when he's accused of working on the Sabbath and doing things on the Sabbath, and his answer seems to be that the Sabbath was created for man, not man for the Sabbath. So it's not about obedience to the law from the letter of the law standpoint, where you violate it by not loving other people. So hope that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. And Temple, DM me if you have more questions on that. Okay, let's get over to starting the raid and blessing you, and we'll go forth to bless others. So, may God seeking comfort find you. May his loving arms bind you. May his might protect you. May his wisdom direct you. May the joyous love of Jesus Christ be with you and all those you know, both now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone who was here. Appreciate it so much. Love the conversation. Love hanging out with you. Love having you in here. Thank you for the raid. Let me get the, hopefully it'll show up in the credits. Let me get my credits and let's go bless people. I don't know what's wrong with my credits. I gotta fix that. I got to fix that.
Flat cap on his head, he's streaming live. Reading from the book, the word's so alive. A prayer in his heart that lifts the soul. In the digital world where spirits roll. Hallelujah, from the screen we scream. Join the pastor in the holy dream, spreading love with every verse he reads, planting hope like precious seeds. He's a shepherd with a virtual flock.